beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G, got what you need. Vitamin G, got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin G. Discussing that heat in the street, and we got just what you need on Vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone. I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G, got what you need. Vitamin G, got what
All
you need.
alone.
Vitamin G. Ay. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G, got what you need. Vitamin G, got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin G. Hey, final round. I already know how I'm coming, man. Yeah. Tryna run the town. Tell no duck when they hear that sound. How they gon' come up now? Heavy as the head that'll wear that crown. I'm going pound for pound. And if it's about smoke, then we talk all of that. from an ounce to a pound. Take it, they biting this now. Cause my drip right out the seat. How could they be? Give me a couple of rounds. Cause I'm a beast when I'm on vitamin G. You see, they start crumbling now. Mad struck, start mumbling now. Get the gist, I ain't reaching for cloud. Plot twist, I'm the one with the keys. Clock blitz, know they look half freeze. Different continents, I be torn. We living life, making yours look boring. See, we win at the end, it's a spoiler warning. Cause I keep heating up, I might blow the whole planet. They calling me toxic like global warming. But they keep tuning in once again and again. I'm the one at the top, just to form a warning. Truly, I'm De Niro when it come to movies. Get De Niro, entertain the groupies. Habanero if you come pursue me. But I hop on the game, too busy rolled up whenever my girl getting moody. Let me go with the gang, we all go insane. Catching them bills on the duty. I'm in Stixie, I'm locked in. Bought a box, I was like 10. Back then, used to box, nowadays they ain't throwing hands. Mama said we got more advanced. One thing about me, I adapt, bought a Glock fin. Keep me safe from the block in. The game kept me off the block. Ain't got flex about looting my Ruger. I can shit on you with my computer. See, my graphics card costs more than your damn job can afford to pay you. And my monitor, big as hell, detail, so I can see when I spray you. To reload the clip and record the clip is go all say to that SSD. Know a whole lot of trill game heads like me wanna see tuned into that VGP. Take over the west and the east, and we got just what you need on vitamin G.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dante Crisis. Finally back. I've heard you have all missed me. I'm back. And Omar will never darken this corner of the internet ever again with his hosting, because I am back. Until I'm gone again. And then I apologize after that. So how is everybody doing today? How's everybody in the chat? Let's get some love to the chat first. How you doing, what's up, Amadeus? How are you? What up, Joster? Hello, Ali Pandas. What's good? And Michael Executioner, how are you today, my friends? It's good to see you all, and it's good to be back. But let's get to the rest of the panel instead of me talking your heads off. Let's first start with Mr. Nappy Senshi. How are you, my friend? What have you been up to?
How's it going, everyone? This is Nappy Senshi here, your friendly neighborhood ninja that was raised in a village here in the hood. I've been doing good. I just dropped a controller review on the Power A Fusion Pro 2, which I do not recommend as a pro controller, but then I realized that paddles weren't my kink at first, but then I got warmed up to them. They're actually, I kind of understand why people use paddles. And I've been playing Dark Tide. I've been playing a little bit of Gotham Knights with the 4-player dungeon thing, which is kind of repetitive. And I've been playing Cyberpunk again because I've been testing out some features on this controller that has an LED screen on it. So
make sure the penis doesn't fly by, or otherwise we'll get demonetized.
Right.
Nappy, real quick, you piqued my interest with the Gotham. So is that like a little raid thing?
It's something like a little raid thing. So basically, it's like a certain area in the map that you go into that goes into a separate hub, and then of course 3 other players can join in. You pick like one of these like dungeons, and then you go in and you just kind of like beat up a bunch of enemies, and then just move forward. Beat up a bunch of enemies, move forward. Defend this point, move forward. Okay, you clear the dungeon. Exit the dungeon. It's just kind of rinse and repeat. As you progress, they kind of do things where you have to escort a payload and some other stuff, which can be fun. You get more variety as the deeper the dungeons you go, but I can kind of see how the repetitiveness of it. So it's fun to do with 4 players. It's like a joke thing, but I'm like, nothing too special.
All
right, cool. How's Dark Tide?
Oh, Dark Tide is I I like it. Me and my friends, we've been having fun with Dark Tide. I heard that Dark Tide. I didn't know that Dark Tide's recent reviews were mixed. I understand why about the crafting system, which is unfortunately is one thing that didn't work. But apparently, some people were saying there was a little bit of performance issues, which I haven't experienced, or me and my friends haven't experienced. But it's kind of a little weird. And some people say it's a half baked game overall, which I can understand because some features are still not available yet. So, but I enjoy Dark Tide.
All right, well, so long as you enjoy it. All right, next to the other man from who was raised in a village, because clearly those dreads are all natural. They're not glued on whatsoever. Mr. Juve Sensei, what have you been up to, my guy?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. I haven't been up to much. I am officially Team OLED as of last Friday.
Oh, we're gonna.
American.
What?
Not the Switch. Not the Switch. I'm talking about a TV.
Thank you.
Oh.
I was gonna rip them dreads from your. I was
year?
gonna scalp you. I was gonna tune into that Apache Blood and Mine and flying tomahawk scalp your ass.
Nah, you already. I have an OLED Switch too, but I've had that since
I
it
was
came
about
out.
to say, like, are we gonna pretend like Juve doesn't have an OLED Switch anyway?
I know, but he knows that shit shouldn't exist. He only got
It shouldn't. It should not.
You only got it.
No,
He only got it for the battery life. He said that.
Jimmy,
No,
are you gonna get the pajamas for your controller?
The what?
Pajamas.
The little pajamas for the controller. I posted it.
Oh, no. If it's $20, maybe. If it's over that, they can eat a dick. So we'll see. But yeah, OLED gaming on television is like that. I recommend that to everyone, 100%. I haven't been playing anything too crazy. I started Sonic Frontiers. I got back into Destiny. New season starts tomorrow.
Oh, new season starts tomorrow. I did not know that.
It's Tuesday, bro. You know resets are Tuesdays.
Your daughter be creeping in the background, by the way. I just saw her suddenly
A little
appear.
tip for you with Son of Fortier.
She
Don't
just
focus
walks
on,
by and just appeared. I was like, what the fuck?
A little tip for you in Son of Fortier. Don't focus on getting a ranking. You're not getting anything out of it.
That's good to know. What else have I been playing? Call of Duty, of course, and the occasional Madden game. I am looking forward to High on Life, so that needs to hurry up and bring its ass. I did not buy Callisto Protocol at launch for reasons, and
He poor.
I probably won't.
He broke. He got
Yeah, that part. Yeah, but yeah, it's been a fun week.
Nice.
Can't wait to
I got a
shoot the shit
question.
with you guys.
So you've been playing Modern Warfare 2, right? Have you tried out
Yes,
Warzone 2.0?
I jumped into one match, I believe.
All right.
I don't really, I don't fuck with battle royale.
I know you don't fuck with battle royale, but you obviously played one game, and you played one game of the original Warzone, which thank Christ Almighty, we don't need to worry about. We don't need to worry about it being installed with Modern Warfare 2 because we can actually uninstall it instead of like Modern Warfare where it was legitimately required. Does it feel maybe it's because like a lot of people, even actually to be fair at this point, a lot of tryhards should be there and sweating up the lobbies, but does it feel a whole lot more free? I don't know how to explain it, but does it feel better than Warzone 1 to you in that one match you played?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Like, the whole game as a whole feels better than Modern Warfare 1 in a lot of instances. Like, regardless of the mode, it just does. Like, I can't quite put a finger on it. It's just fun to play. I wasn't having this kind of fun playing Modern Warfare 1 or any Call of Duty from, I'd probably say, like, the past 5 years, to be honest.
That's some high praise then. That's some high praise. All right, next, the man of Nintendo, Mr. Zero. How are you today, my friend? What have you been up to?
I am well, man. Getting through life is trying its best to bring me down, but I'm gonna be okay. Not much. Finished God of War. So very entertaining sort of journey with Kratos and Atreus.
See, okay, we might talk spoilers, and I have a spoiler alert now. So,
Well, no. We're not talking spoilers. Not yet.
No, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, don't talk
haven't.
spoilers. Not a lot of
Almost
people
40
have
hours
it.
in. Okay.
Oh,
I'm getting
okay,
there.
okay. I thought everybody was at that point. Yeah. Please go on, sir.
So outside of that, still in my Apex games. Now that Jube has just told me about Destiny, I'll probably be back on Destiny later this week. Of course, the reason for the season for me, Pokemon, which is probably the most frustrating game I've played in a while, because it's just implemented so poorly, like so poorly. But it is hands down probably the best Pokemon game I've played within like the last couple of years.
But it's the only game in the last couple. It's the only Pokemon game that isn't a remake in the last couple of years.
No, Sword and Shield.
That was a re-release. Sword and Shield was a re-release, wasn't it? Of
Arceus, an original IP.
That was brand new.
Yeah, Arceus. Okay, fair enough, Arceus.
Yeah, and Arceus, but Sword and Shield was a brand new thing. Like those two, Shield and Dog.
Why did I think that was a remake of a fucking 3DS game?
I mean, it's basically a Wii U game, so that might be why.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah. No, they remade Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl
That was the one.
as
Thank
well.
you.
But the game, if it just ran better, this could possibly be Nintendo's best game of this. Like, it could possibly like have won for Game of the Year, or at least been nominated. It does everything. I think it evolves the Pokemon formula in meaningful ways. The open world aspect works really well for it. The new crop of Pokemon are awesome. The sort of Italian landscape that they're all featuring is great. Just the performances just absolutely suck. And there's a recent patch that came out that it doesn't really do much of anything just yet. So I'm gonna continue playing. I'm having a good time with it, just like also upset at the same time. It's a weird duality to like play this game and be mad while still having fun. Because of what could have been, really what could have been. And finally, Dealfield Chronicles. I'm on the last chapter, so I'm just gonna wrap that up and then probably move on to Valkyrie Elysium.
That's a good call, bro. I get so upset when I see shit moving in the background. Like, it just bothers me so much in fucking Pokemon, bro. I'm like, fucking windmills, anything else. It's just, why? Why'd y'all do this to me?
I was looking for the famous part, like at the opening where they're in the school and just the legs are moving. I was like, I wonder if it's going to work for me. Immediately, it just legs.
Good time to jump into Valkyrie Elysium. Just got an DLC update for free. Have fun.
Oh, good to know.
All right. Next, Mr. Kofi, what have you been up to? How's things in Japan?
I think he just stepped away.
God fucking damn it! Is it Kofi? All right, Pharaoh, you're next. I swear to God, if he just stepped away as well.
Yeah, I think he did say.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Boy Pharaoh. What have I played this week? I played a little bit of Gungrave Gore, and I think that's about it. And kind of quiet week for me.
All right. Yeah. Speaking of which, I need to check Gungrave Gore on Steam. Oh, mixed as well. God fucking damn it. All right.
It's a PS2 game, bro. I know you haven't been here the past couple of weeks, but it's all right. Like, if you like Gungrave 1 or Overdose, it's fine.
Okay, fair enough. All right, fair enough. All right. Then Omar, what have you been up to?
I started again. I picked up again Valhalla after getting one big glitch in main quest and other in side quest. I dropped it a bit and I started and finished Callisto Protocol. And yeah, I have a lot to say about that, but we're gonna do that in the topic. But that's about it.
All right, fair enough. Kofi, are you there? Are you alive? If you suck dick, say nothing. Well, we have our answer. All right. As far as myself, I have been tearing ass in Borderlands 2, which we are now in the third DLC, Sir Hammerlock's Big Game Hunt, which has been hilarious. So we got through the main game, and I'll admit, I'll quickly go over this. Main game, fun, really fun, especially with 4 players, especially the people I picked, where it just ended up as a big giant shit show. Handsome Jack, I can understand the reason why he gets the love that he gets as a villain. He's an absolute bastard. I've never wanted I've never wanted somebody in a video game as dead as I wanted him. He is such an asshole. Got through the first DLC, which is the Treasure of Captain Blade. I think that was the name. It was alright. Too much back and forth. Real fucking disappointing ending.
Third time?
Oh, first time playing Borderlands 2. Then there was Mr. Torque's Carnival of Carnage. What was it called? The Mr. Torque DLC, the Carnage one. That was fucking hilarious, but made even funner by just the dialogue and Mr. Torque himself, and then realizing that the voice of Mr. Torque is in fact Mr. Satan from Dragon Ball. That just made it even better for me. Because I just ended up spending most of my time editing it by superimposing Mr. Satan's face over Mr. Torque. It's hilarious. And the Big Game Hunt's actually been pretty fun as well, though fucking Claptrap showed up again, and everybody just groaned. Because none of my friends like Claptrap. Like, we're sick of him. We just want to shoot him. We want to nuke him from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. Aside from that, been playing a lot of Project Zomboid, quite obsessively actually. It's really fun, especially with mods, and I'm able to open up a server for my friends to come in and play. Aside from that, I've been playing Bayonetta 3. Right.
Your silence says it all.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
It's a game.
I'm going to throw up the spoiler alert. Now, if you guys look at the chat, I bought the spoiler alert back. Look at it. It's beautiful. For the viewing audience, the spoiler alert is up for Bayonetta 3. I've not completed it, but I'm going to give you my thoughts and where I think this game is going and why I'm not happy about it. So the spoiler alert is up. Right. This game is a mixed game, if anything. Like, this is a 50 to 60% for me. This is probably going to go down as a rental / borrow for me, because the combat is not the problem. The combat is fine. The combat is Bayonetta as you love it. Right? The problems start to arise with the story. Right off the bat, again, spoilers are galore here. At the very start, Bayonetta dies. But the thing is, it's another Bayonetta from another multiverse, from another universe, because we're going multiverse theory, bitch.
Oh, I hate when people do that.
But here's the thing. So our Bayonetta, who I believe is the Bayonetta from Bayonetta 1 and 2, we then take over her, and we're going through the multiverse to find these Chaos Gears, these MacGuffins, the Marvel MacGuffins that they just pull out of their asses. So we go to different universes, and we see different Bayonettas. We went to a Japanese universe, where clearly the Japanese won World War II, and there is a Japanese Bayonetta. She dies, we get her fucking power, we get her demon and her weapon. We then go to one where apparently technology stifled during ancient China, and there is the Chinese Bayonetta. She dies, we get her power, we get her demon, and we get her weapon. I get the feeling that throughout the entire game, that's all that's going to happen. We're going to see these interesting Bayonettas, and they're just going to fucking die. Because the writer of this game clearly watched Game of Thrones way too much and equated stakes in a story with just fucking killing everybody. And we're supposed to give a shit about these Bayonettas because their name is Bayonetta. And I'm just sat here thinking, no, I don't give a shit. I don't know these Bayonettas from a hole in the wall. The only one I care about is the one that I'm playing as, because that's the one I played as for 3 fucking games. Alright? The other problem is the new character. I'm sure you all saw her in the trailers. The short-haired girl with the katana. Her name is Viola. She is painfully Bayonetta's daughter from the universe that the first Bayonetta that we saw die in the game is from, and she is cringe as shit. She is the living embodiment. The writer of this proved that he is the living embodiment of "Hello, my fellow kids" meme with Viola. She is awful. She is Nero from Devil May Cry 5 with all the swearing, but none of the charm, none of the cool factor, and none of the personality.
Oof.
The watered down Nero.
That is what she is. Okay? And my problem is I feel I like clairvoyance has got me saying that this game is going to kill off our Bayonetta, and then they're going to replace her with Viola and give her the name Bayonetta to let her just ruin the franchise going forward. That's what I feel is going to happen.
So basically, they're trying to copy Devil May Cry 5, but in a different way. Passing the torch.
Yeah, that's how it feels like it's gonna go. Like, I don't give a shit about the villain. He has shown up twice and talked shit, and then that's it. After killing a couple of Bayonettas because they're dropping like fucking flies. Like, I don't give a shit about this game. And that is compounded by the fact that this game cannot hold a fucking frame rate to save its life. I want this game to give me my frame rate back.
I mean, it's on the Switch, bro. What did you expect?
Yep.
Hey, like that Tegra chip, man. Pretty old chip.
This game, No.
Them Amazon Fire level graphics.
Yeah.
Bro. Like,
Nappy, here's the problem. It can hold 30, but they're trying to target 60 in gameplay.
Can't you lock it at 30? Does Nintendo give you that
No.
option?
It's an uncapped frame rate.
Oh, that is disgusting. If you can't keep a steady for 60, you got to cap it at 30. It's better to do that than have it jumping from like 45 to 60 down to 45 to 30. That just
that is the combat in Bayonetta. And also the other big disappointment in that game, the boss battles suck. Legitimately, the first boss battle ends with the first boss fight you actually play as, but you play as the Japanese Bayonetta that just fucking dies afterwards anyway. The second boss fight is, no joke, a fucking rail shooter. I'm not kidding. It's a goddamn rail shooter. It's like this game's tone. This Bayonetta has never taken itself seriously, but there's been a consistency with the story. Anybody who's played Bayonetta 1 and 2 knows that those two games have a solid story that actually loop into each other. Like they're a complete duology. This game is the black sheep. If this game ends the way that I believe and I feel in my gut, actually not feel in my gut, because it's more like a fucking severe fucking irritable bowel syndrome at this point. If this game goes where I think it's going, I'm done with Platinum Games. I'm done.
Ooh.
whoa, like that's a.
Because they already fucked us over with Babylon Falls, and I said, even then, if Bayonetta 3 fails to impress, I'm done with Platinum Games.
Wait, is this? Actually, no, never mind.
And they've already turned around and said that they're doing Bayonetta 4.
Yeah, they already confirmed that.
So I'm just sat here like, if you go the way that I think you're going, I'm done. Goodbye, Platinum Games.
You don't play with that Japanese Bayonetta? As the Japanese Bayonetta?
You play as the Japanese Bayonetta for like a small section, then she's dead. And then the Chinese Bayonetta you meet in the next universe, you don't play as her, she just dies as well.
How are you supposed to care about characters?
No, that's the thing. The writer of this game thinks just because they're called Bayonetta, you're meant to care.
No.
Like, I already turned around and said, during my playthrough, what's disappointing with this is they could have killed, if they wanted to kill him off, they should have gone with the route that we go to these multiverses and recruit these Bayonettas to come and help us in the final battle and the push towards getting to the end, the final boss Singularity, and they die along the way, making their deaths fucking mean something. But they haven't done that. They just fucking kill them off.
Or at least play with them for an hour or two
Nah.
That sounds like a good multiplayer feature that they could have done.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, it's
Maybe
not. By the way,
up.
it's not just Bayonetta dying. Fucking Jean's dying again as well, like multiple fucking times.
Oh,
They've killed Jean off again. Where we had this kind of goes to what I'm saying, where less is more. You remember how the driving force of the first fucking game was saving Jean from hell?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, take that completely out the window because it's Game of Thrones in this bitch. Everybody's dying. It's fucking stupid. I'm gonna.
Death in video game need to be meaningful.
Alright.
Just killing people up for the sake of killing people up is not fun.
Spoiler alert is down, ladies and gentlemen. Right, Kofi, give us your intro so we can move on to the first topic.
Yes, what's going on, everybody? As usual, playing an import or playing for PlayStation First Party. That's typically what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm about 40 hours into God of War. Really enjoying it. I think once I pass a 30-hour mark, the enjoyment escalated very high. I like the story beats. The combat's really great. Obviously, there's a unique addition to the combat once you get to a certain point in the game. That's been really great. Character interactions are really good, better than I remember them from 2018. And then yes, so the import I've been playing is not Trails for once. It is again this prequel to a visual novel known as Utawara du Mono. It's called Monochrome Mobius. It is available on Steam in English, which is really strange, but I like trophies. This game, I just reached 20 hours, and it is uniquely good. And I think the reason why I'm pleased with what I'm playing is the really good writing experience with visual novels that Aqua Plus has really shines through with the traditional 90s style RPG format that they went with, where you have your towns, you have massive exploration, mystery, lots of discovery, and I wasn't expecting the maps to be so massive. I mean, right now I'm just roaming the grasslands outside of the main village where the main character's from, and it's just like constant, just like, oh my gosh, there's a whole nother like forest back here. And not just that, I just entered the main dungeon in chapter 4, and a lot of old, Japanese style RPGs had very like, the dungeons are very like dank and corridory, and this one went with something a little more sci-fi, almost like it was inspired by Horizon Zero Dawn. I really enjoyed that. I felt like every time I see something new introduced in the game, it's not rehashing of old assets with a different color. So, been really impressed with that. And again, yeah, just hit 20 hours in that, so it's been pretty fun.
All right, cool. Right, so I guess the first thing we're gonna be talking about. You know what, Mr. Neppy saying? Could someone send the Xbox article to Mr. Neppy essentially so he can read this out for us? Because unfortunately he's not in the we need to invite him into the VGP chat in Twitter so he can read this shit.
Yeah, he needs an account. He needs a.
Yeah, actually, I got to make a Twitter account.
Well, I mean, to be fair, with what the doom and gloomers are saying, I mean, Twitter's shutdown is imminent, so I mean, there might be no point.
I mean, we'll see. I mean,
it's fine. He's like our Batman. Like he's with us, but he's not like with us.
Yeah. if someone could just link him the Xbox thing on Discord then, because I can't open Discord because currently screenshotting it. But no, while we wait for that, God, yeah, just going back to the Bayonetta thing real quick. This isn't spoilers. This is just because we had this discussion just while, like I said, while we're waiting for him to get the article. When we were mentioning about the Switch, does the Switch need to be upgraded? Like the whole reason for that for me was Bayonetta 3's performance. Like I said, my problem with that is the cutscenes are in 30 frames per second. Some of the action is in 30 frames per second, but the gameplay is trying to get to 60. I just don't understand why they released it all. Why they didn't just release it at 30, where it could probably hold it.
Almost sounds like just emulate it. If you already bought it, don't steal it.
Already bought it, really would emulate it, but the problem is they are really trying to fucking decode. I'm sure Nappy would can attest to this, even though I'm sure neither of us partake in emulation of this.
I don't know what
kind.
you're talking about. I
I
don't know what you're
know,
talking about.
but, but like I just get this feeling that the possibly the ROMs on the internet for Switch games are encoded in a really fucking awful way that you have to go through like an hour's worth of work just to decode a ROM for the Switch. Wouldn't you agree, Nappy? Don't you think that might be a problem that is faced?
I mean, it kind of can be a problem. I mean, I see what they did with the Metroid. That hit 4K on emulation. Not saying I know by experience.
Yeah.
I just seen some things.
Yeah. Some news outlet put it out there, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Let's listen. An article.
Okay,
Anyway.
yeah, hold on. All right, let me bring it up. So, Xbox be going for that $70, people. Just be fucking ready. Oh, also, side note, I believe it now has been confirmed the next Elder Scrolls game will be exclusive to Xbox. Going back to a previous conversation we've had, that Xbox isn't taking existing franchises away from other people. It's now confirmed that they are with the Elder Scrolls, because 6 is going to be exclusive. Please, Mr. Nappy, will you read us, please?
Of course. So it looks like Microsoft raising prices on new first-party games built for the Xbox Series X/S to $70 in 2023. Ooh, this is going to hit people's wallets. All right. So Xbox is preparing to join the other major game publishers in raising the prices of its major new first-party titles from $60 to $70. Beginning in 2013, game builds for Xbox Series X and X, including Forza Motorsports, Redfall, and Starfield. Oh, not Starfield. Will cost $69.99 USD at launch. While Xbox has noted that the regional prices may differ, it has yet given specifics for other countries. This price reflects the content, scale, and technical complexity of these titles, a Microsoft spokesperson told IGN. As with all games developed by our teams at Xbox, they will also be available with Game Pass the same day they launch. I'ma hold them to that. I'ma hold them fucking to that. The price increase is unsurprising, given that earlier this year, Xbox head Phil Spencer said the company wouldn't be able to hold its price forever, but the Xbox would not raise price ahead of the 2023 holiday season. Xbox also not the first company to have done this. Sony, Ubisoft, and Take-Two Interactives have announced $70 prices points for certain new games, and Sony specifically has reported discussing raising the price even higher. Oh,
even higher.
I'm higher. As for whether this will mean Xbox Series X and S will also get more expensive is hard to say. The PlayStation 5 already got hit with the price increase in a number of countries, and Nintendo has said it's not ruling out an increase on the Switch. Oh,
Bro, I will burn mine if they do that. That is garbage.
When Sony,
Don't matter, give it to me.
Okay, let me finish. I only got a couple more sentences. When Sony announced its console price hike, Microsoft clarified that it had no plans to do the same for its current Xboxes. Let's see how that turned out. Something that Spencer's reiterated in September. However, in October, Spencer phrases was a bit different. We've held prices of our consoles, we've held prices of our games and our subscription, he said. I don't think we will be able to do that forever. I do think at some point we will have to raise some prices on certain things. All right, so that's the end of the article.
Yep, I'm gonna give tinfoil hat's going on. Well, I've already got a hat on, just imagine it's wrapped in tinfoil. I suspect that the price I expect the price of Game Pass to go up as well. That I expect that to go up, but I also, again, tinfoil hat on, ladies and gentlemen. I expect that this is actually a marketing move for them to try and push people over to Xbox Game Pass, to try and lock them into Game Pass, and that is something that that is something Xbox gamers should be worried about. Because the moment they start locking people into Game Pass starts becoming a necessity. It starts becoming damn near mandatory. And that's when, game companies, as have proven in the time, will begin to fuck you. That
Maybe.
Not a maybe. This is a distinct possibility. Like it is.
I think they might.
50-50. Like this is what this feels like. Let me finish talking. Like this is what it feels like with Microsoft. They're gonna raise the they've said that this is gonna raise the price. They're then going to get more people over to Xbox because we've actually discussed this before when we talked about like the numbers that finally came up about people on Game Pass, and I said that it feels like to Microsoft this might be, even though from like an outside perspective this feels good, it feels like maybe internally Xbox, the higher ups at Xbox might have been expecting more people to be on Game Pass at this point, and this might be their way to try and nudge people over to getting Game Pass, you know, cheaper games and shit. But again, that's something people should really be worried about, because the moment something becomes comfortable, the moment something becomes, you know, an appealing alternative, is the moment they start fucking turning screws in you. Now,
I think.
Hold on. There was something else as well. Yeah, as far as Nintendo raising their prices, motherfuckers, first of all, there's something that needs to be said about raising prices, and this is why I said that we're only going to do 2 topics there, because this spurs a whole new conversation about, you know, the raising prices of video games and shit like that. Here's my problem. People turn around and have used the argument that, you know, some games were $60, like $60, $50, $60 back in like the Nintendo 64 times and stuff like that. But I look at that and I say, you do realize the reason why Nintendo 64 games back in the day were more expensive is because they were more expensive to produce. That's the reason why. Like, manufacturing-wise, they were more expensive. With the advancement of technology, especially in digital format, prices should be going down instead, because you don't need to spend the extra to develop the goddamn discs or the cartridges or whatever. So digital games should be going down in price, but no, they're going up, and they're turning around and saying it's because of the rising price of game development. And what was the specific words they turned around and said? Reflect the content, scale, and technical complexity of these titles. I'm sorry, if going to our next conversation, if these are the games that are reflective of fucking content, scale, and technical complexity, I'm sorry, no, you don't deserve fucking $60 to $70. You don't. Especially when you start front-loading them with arseloads of microtransactions and sell off content that should be on the disc that not just 5 fucking years ago or 10 years ago was on the disc. Like, no, you cannot, you have no right to turn around and bitch about the complexity and content of games when you're selling us half-baked fucking games at $70 and then front-loading it with fucking microtransactions. You fucking don't. You lose all right to it. Right. You know what? Then go on, Omar. You can go.
The issue with this whole conversation is Microsoft have literally not supported Xbox for the past few years when it comes to first-party titles. So why the fuck should they raise the prices? That makes
We haven't supported them in the past few years. Like,
yeah, like
years?
how many Xbox games have come out this year and last year? First party.
Hold on.
Quite a bit.
I'm gonna look this up because, you know, I'm the man of things. So go on, continue.
And then you look at how they were doing. No, that's different. But what I think they're gonna do things. They're gonna raise the price for Game Pass, and they're gonna reveal or officially reveal them Game Pass quote unquote ultimate but family plan. And that's gonna be insightful for people to grab into, because yeah, the raising of the price is something that I knew would happen. I'm not surprised about it, because I think Phil Spencer shot himself in the foot the same way Jim Ryan did when he said, "We believe in generation."
All right, Omar, I need to know like what where the goalpost is for you. Like, are we talking back to 2020 or what?
What do you mean?
First party Xbox games.
Oh.
I need to know where the goalpost
Xbox
is.
games. If you compare PlayStation versus Xbox with output,
No. I want to know, like, as far as like first party games.
yeah, go to 2020.
Okay, right. So
No, just go to the release of the beginning of this generation.
So that would be 2020 then, basically.
Yeah.
Right. So we had Bleeding Edge, which fucking came and went like a fart in an elevator. Gears Tactics, which was really fucking good. Minecraft Dungeons, which is not a first. Well, yeah, actually, how long have they owned? No, that is first party. So that's 3 so far. Grounded, Wastelands 3, Tell Me Why, Halo Infinite. I'm not okay. So right now, controversial take. I don't personally count games that were already in development before they got bought. So Psychonauts 2 kind of falls into the wayside for me because even though they pumped some money into it, they didn't pump all of the money into it. That was still crowdfunded. So I personally don't count that, but you can if you want. Microsoft Flight Simulator. So that is what, 5. Battletoads, which is 6. Everwild. Those two didn't come out. So yeah, about 5, because I don't think Forza Motorsport 8 came out in 2020, did it? When did that come out?
Was there? Yeah, it came out.
Oh, it came out in
last year.
Oh, it came out last. Okay, so it came out in 2021. Okay, so that's 5 in 2020.
Yeah, Halo and
I already said Halo.
Yeah, so, no, but you said you said it for 2020. I'm saying Halo came out in 2020.
No, the multiplayer came out in 2020. The single player, well, it said 2020 for that. Anyway, either way, so that's 5.
No, they came out in like the previous season.
Yeah, November. Either way, so we got Halo. So again, that's 5. Forza Motorsport 5. Age of Empires 4. So that's 7. Deathloop doesn't count for the same for my same reasoning. That's it for 2020. There's some expansions. There was expansions for Sea of Thieves with A Pirate's Life and Minecraft Caves and Cliffs. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else like exclusive first party. I'm not seeing anything else. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition. Yeah, nothing else there. And give me a second. For some reason this okay. And then for 2020, we've had first party.
I think Sea of Thieves.
No, Sea of Thieves didn't come out. That might have been another expansion. Yeah, no, there was an there was another season for it. So I mean, if you want to count that, I'm just looking for single players. I can't think of any. I can't see anything that came out like this year for Xbox unless I'm gonna look for another list.
I think it's Pentiment and like one other.
The only thing that came out this year would be Grounded and Pentiment.
Well, Grounded's been out since 2020. It got a full release this year.
It's officially released this year.
I still don't count that. That came out in 2020. The moment you release it, if it's a live service game, because like at that point, Grounded became a live service game for all intents and purposes. So it came out in 2020. Same.
You got Pentiment and you got
I
think Tell Me Why came out with an expansion.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as like full blown releases, Crossfire X. Sorry, that was another one that came out.
Why did you even mention? Why did you even bring that shit up? Why did you even bring that shit up?
It's an exclusive, but it's
that's not.
All right, well, no, okay, okay, but then wait, no, Scorn isn't one. Yeah, no,
would Darktide count as an exclusive?
No, it might be an exclusive, but it's not first party.
Yeah, it's not first party, but it is not on PlayStation.
Which is what Omar is trying to say. Like he's talking like first party, the studios. He's saying that they haven't been supporting first party Xbox exclusive games because
Well, all the stuff is set to release in the beginning of
It's not like
2023.
a lot of us. Yeah. What can I say? I say that a lot when I'm trying to think, like when my brain is slowly processing something. Jubei, fuck off. I know you're taunting me. I know that's you. You got an obvious style. But yeah, so they're the games. So a grand total of probably 10 or less from first party studios. Some big, some really small, and a lot of updates. So go on then, Omar. There is the evidence that you wanted. So run with it.
Yeah, like for example, this year alone, 2 games that were released, and one you didn't count because it released beforehand, and Pentiment. That's it. That's literally first party title. Like,
They had 2 delays.
so when you're doing something like that, I don't believe it's then correct to come out and say, yeah, we're gonna raise prices. Like, you didn't even deserve it to raise the prices. At least produce something noteworthy, then come out and say, I want to raise the price. Which again, raising the price is not the issue. I knew they were gonna do that because the second the thing started with whatchamacallit.
So the problem is in your mind, they've released nothing that you can point to and say that's $70 worthy, like you could do with a lot of PlayStation 5 games, where you point to that and say that's $70
But you
worthy.
couldn't do that with PlayStation 5 games at the time.
Yeah.
They announced this game was going to be $70. There were no PlayStation 5 games yet. So they didn't show you that there was anything worth paying $70 for.
That's fair.
When same thing when Take-Two or any of these other companies announced that their games were going to $70. They hadn't yet to release
Returnal was
anything.
70.
I'm sorry?
Returnal was 70.
Okay. But they announced that they announced their game was going to be $70 before the PlayStation 5 came out. So before they showed you anything that would tell you that their games
But
were
I am still getting new content that I'm not getting on my previous game. That's fine.
That wasn't your point. Your point was that Xbox should release content first to show their games are worth $70 when no one else has been held up to that same standard.
I think the only argument that if I was to play Devil's Advocate, which I think I've still got the alert for, I think I've still got the Devil's Advocate thing for. Where is it? I don't. Damn it! If I was to throw Devil's Advocate, because that's how I am. With PlayStation, they at least have the backlog of a couple of years of games that you could make the argument that they're worth $70 because if you look at their back catalog. Where with Xbox, what is their recent back catalogs like from this generation, but also the last generation that you could turn around and say that's worth $70? Like, because
they were just publisher of the year last year.
No,
again, I'm playing Devil's Advocate. I'm not saying this is what I believe because I fucking hate $70 games anyway. It's the reason why I haven't bought Modern Warfare 2. I don't
agree with $70 games either, but they were just publisher of the year last year.
Again, I'm not arguing. I'm playing Devil's Advocate.
When has that become a thing?
What, $70?
2019. No, 2019. Who was publisher of the year?
Give me a minute.
2016 who was publisher. When did we start caring? I agree.
Yeah, maybe I'm just a little crazy. I just never heard of that.
We're saying, but he's making the point that they didn't make anything that said the games were $70. I'm like, well, they were just publisher of the year.
Capcom.
I mean, for what it's worth.
PlayStation.
To me, all it means is that they released a bunch of really highly rated games.
Capcom. It was Capcom that was published. It was Capcom that was publisher of the year.
A bunch of. Huh?
It was Capcom that was publisher of the year in 2019.
I think you wanted to say 2020.
That award. Okay, that's fair.
Either, but the point is that I mean, if you win publisher of the year, then you obviously display that you're putting out some type of quality. And
no, because they're literally counting studios that they just bought, that they had zero hand in the game.
They just are about to drop 2 more games. So those games should be 70. Like by your logic, They put out the content to show that their games were $70.
Yo, I have a rebuttal for this. I just need y'all to finish. Go ahead.
So the game should be $70 based on what you're saying. They just bought the game. The games were good. So the next game should be $70, right?
And Microsoft was Publisher of the Year in 2021.
Yeah, 21, not 2019.
No, I understand that.
He said last year. Kofi was the only one that brought up 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, I was bringing up 2019 because I just don't remember that being a competition people debated.
It was. It's a Metacritic thing, which is why you can understand I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
They actually had an award, so.
All right. Well, Jube, I want to hear your take, and I want Saint Cheese.
So I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it like this. So we knew as a market we were going to $70 games, right?
Yep.
EA did it. Take-Two did it. PlayStation definitely did it, and people are buying those games, right? God of War sold 5 million copies in a week, right? So people are willing to buy like $70 games, okay? But you saying Xbox hasn't done shit? PlayStation was selling PS4 games for $70 fucking. Like, we're not going to pretend that all these cross-gen games are not PS4 games. They are. Yep. They absolutely are. Just because they play on the PS5 and they have optimizations, they are PS4 fucking games by design. They still have to work on that old shit because they have no choice.
Yeah,
like,
that.
If you're okay with
I literally be saying content sucks.
So, but you're still okay with paying $70 for a last gen game because that's what it is. That's what they are. Xbox is saying, hey, our games that are going to be made for Series X and S, those are $70. Now, at least I know that I'm not going to be paying $70 for an Xbox One game because those $70 games aren't coming out for the One. It's not going to happen.
And wasn't Zero Dawn?
And that's confirmed for all three.
Wasn't Forbidden West? Wasn't it $60 on PS4? Sorry, wasn't it $60 on PS4 but $70 on PS5?
That's the same for God of War.
There you go.
That's same for Gran Turismo 7.
There you go.
It's these are PS4 games.
No. Hold on.
Tell me about PS4 games.
With whatchamacallit, Forbidden West, they actually got called out for it, including by myself, and they reversed it.
And they said they reversed it for that one game.
Yeah, for that one game, they literally gave you
for the PS5
so that you knew beforehand what you're gonna get, yes or no. If you're gonna play, you knew beforehand with God of War is going to be a 70. They literally gave you an ultimatum.
Okay, they gave you an ultimatum, bro. Like, you are okay with paying $70 for PS4 games. You're 100% okay with that. They set the precedent for that.
Dude, I have been literally saying cross-gen sucks. If I had the choice to keep cross-gen, I would have done so.
So you're saying cross-gen sucks, but why are you shitting on Xbox for doing that for just their next-gen only games? They're $70 because they're next-gen games.
And that's confirmed. All three games coming out next year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Starfield is Starfield, Redfall, all three of those are series only.
My biggest thing is, like, I could have sworn like just 6 months ago, Omar was defending $70 game, and now Xbox isn't allowed to do it, but everyone else is allowed to. So
are you paying? Are you paying for quality, bro, or are you paying $70 for a PS4 game? I have questions.
No,
You're paying
for
to
example,
unlock features on a console that you paid money for. That's all you're paying for.
Returnal is a $70 game for me. It got enough in it that's enough for me for $70 wise. God of War isn't. Forbidden West isn't, and I've said it multiple times.
But you...
Like, I literally, if you go to my my gameplay channel, literally arguing with my team, not arguing, telling them that the game is not a PlayStation 5 game. And most people agree with me. No, it's not. So I never once said that God of War is a next-gen game, though.
So I've turned around and said on my stream, I've been like the most agitated motherfucker in the world recently since I had COVID. I don't know whether there's a connection to it or not, but I've just been like the most agitated motherfucker ever. But I will turn around and say that I've said on my stream multiple times, and this comes to the $70 price tag for games, that if you, and this goes to everybody, I blanket statement this, I take your opinion with a silo of fucking salt. if you bitch about $70 games, but still go out and buy $70 fucking games. Like your opinion is lesser to me as much as you are a person lesser to me, because you are you're bitching about it, but you're still giving into the fucking problem of $70 games.
Yeah, I mean, and $70 games are there. It's an issue, but like the thing is that's kind of they're matching the market. I'm glad they held out for 2 years before they decided to make that, but it's like the rest of the market is charging $70. We're literally trying to say fuck the Xbox One at this point. It's time to start charging $70 like everybody else.
But the problem is, here's the problem. Like I need consistency. Like I need fucking Frankenstein's monsters level of fucking pitchforks in hands. Go and tear down the ivory tower if this happens. Right? Because in the article, it specifically turns around and says to reflect the content scale and technical complexity of these titles. Okay, if these let me finish.
I will.
Okay.
I will let you finish.
Yep.
I got you.
I just want some consistency that if these titles like Redfall come out with like clear-cut fucking issues and clear content missing that they try and sell you as microtransactions like Darktide has done, if they come out as a buggy ass fucking mess like Skyrim was when it comes to Bugfesta and with Starfield, or what was the other one? They specifically mentioned another one here. What was it? It was Starfield, Redfall, and what was the other one they mentioned? They mentioned another one. Forza. Or if Forza starts or if Forza tries to pull a fucking Gran Turismo and tries to sell you cars that should be in the base game for ludicrous monies. I want people fucking putting heads under the goddamn gallows for them daring to raise it to $70 and then using the excuse of reflect of content scale and technical complexity when they're literally selling us half-baked fucking empty games.
I agree. And at this point, because they're making this move, they have no more excuses. If you're gonna be next gen, period, then that should show. I want to be able to see it, and I'm with you on that. Like if they don't deliver on that, I'm 100% with you. Like I'll go take a shit on Microsoft's fucking front porch if I have to. Like I'm right there with you, bro.
I don't want Starfield looking like Skyrim with mods. I don't want it to look that pretty. There's only so much mods can do.
Starfield, and it doesn't look like it's gonna be this graphical masterpiece or anything like that. I don't think you're gonna get anything like that until
you talking about Redfall?
Probably
what's his name? A friend of mine, Nate, said that you should expect Starfield to be like Fallout and Skyrim and all that stuff because they're not using the new engine yet.
No, it is. They are using. They are using
Creation 2.0. They said it
too. They built the new engine for.
But the problem is it's, I think it was confirmed. Wasn't this built off? Isn't Creation Engine 2.0 built off of the original Creation Engine?
I wouldn't be surprised if there's parts.
I wouldn't be shocked.
They needed to build a whole new fucking engine because the problem is if that is the case and they built it off of the Creation Engine that ran Skyrim and fucking Fallout 76, you're going to see a lot of the same fucking problems. But
that's what literally Innate told me, and Innate plays these games, not like me.
Because the problem is a lot of the bugs that are in like Skyrim, Fallout 76, Fallout 4, they've been there since Morrowind. Like that's the problem.
Yeah,
like not being able to use ladders.
Power armor turning you into the Wendigo man.
I literally seen videos from games from previous where bugs and glitches go from game to game and they don't get fixed. So it's like, and he told me expect the same thing with
a feature
with Starfield because again they are only switching to the next engine. It's going to be with Elder Scrolls 6.
No. Here's the thing. This okay. So if we take what he's saying at face value, right? I think if I was to rationalize what he's trying to say is that Creation Engine 2.0 is basically a patchwork so they can get Starfield done, and with Skyrim they're making a whole new engine from scratch, from the ground up. And that so basically the Creation Engine 2.0 is going to be a 16 times the bugs, you mean. Creation Engine 2.0 is going to be a one and done game engine. Like, they're going to use it for Starfield, and then Elder Scrolls is going to have like a whole new rebuilt engine, like what Halo did with the
Hopefully.
like that's that if I was to rationalize what your friend was saying, it might be a case of that. But Mr. Nappy, before we go too far into the whole engine thing, because me and you could talk about that for hours when it comes to game engines, can't we?
Yes.
Let's get back to the whole $60 whole Xbox going to $70. Your thoughts?
So actually, it's funny because I actually listened to all you guys. Like, you guys did bring some good points. Especially with games being cross-gen, especially how PlayStation has made like God of War Ragnarok like $70 on PlayStation 5 and $60 on PlayStation 4, even though it's overall still a PlayStation 4 game. It's kind of like, I understand that like times are tough, and of course inflation played a big part, so everyone needs to make more money. So I kind of understand why, but also at the same time, I'm like, okay, this even makes even less excuses. I don't want to buy a game. Like, I don't want to like get a game where it's all a buggy mess. I don't want to have like a game that comes out and then all of a sudden day one it doesn't run well. I mean, Callisto Protocol, but it's just like I understand why they increase the pricing, because hopefully it goes down to those hard workers who are making the game. But at the same time, I don't want to see like a buggy mess on none of these games. If you want to make next gen games, you want to make it $70, fine. Just deliver me a $70 product, or I'll just be going on cdkeys.com and I'll buy my keys at a discount, which I kind of did for a couple games.
I mean,
Yeah, like no,
some of us are just gonna use Game Pass, bro. Like,
but
I mean,
there's the problem. Game Pass ends up being
and I know it's gonna start filtering you into Game Pass, because it's like, I don't want to pay $70,
and
but I got Game Pass.
But that's
so
the thing, though, is
to.
that Microsoft has to get these people to put their games on Game Pass. They can do it with their exclusive.
No. The $70 is just for their first party.
Yeah, as I was just saying,
Other publishers can do whatever they want, but first party always goes into Game Pass. There's no.
But that's his
that's what I'm
point.
saying.
That's his point as far as Game Pass goes. Microsoft will need to convince these studios that are not under them to put their games on Game Pass at a discounted price. Like, that's what he's saying.
But considering that if they do go through with both acquisitions, that's a lot of games that change in price officially.
I mean, and they're also sleeping on a lot of dead IPs, or Activision sleeping on a lot of dead IPs.
What Activision games are raising price? Like, Call of Duty already $70.
It wasn't.
It is.
Between hold on, Call of Duty only started being $70. It was either with Vanguard or with Modern Warfare 2.
Cold War. Actually, no, it started with Cold War, sir.
Cold War was. That may be
because
because
the next gen version of that game was $70. There was no way around it.
I didn't know that because, again, I bought it on PC. I bought it smart, but I know Vanguard wasn't $70 on PC. But Modern Warfare 2 is, which is the reason why I still haven't bought it.
Here's the other thing, though. Just because they said it's $70. That does not necessarily mean the PC version is also going to be $70. The PC version is still $60, Dante. I don't think you miss out on it.
No, it is. That's the problem, Jube. They are going to push. They are now going to try, because here's the thing.
They already did push it. The Need for Speed Unbound is a $70 PC game. But if you go to cdkeys.com, you can get it for $46.
Bingo. This is the next. As far as Microsoft goes, like the next holy grail for these companies to try and push $70 in is the PC market, which is going to be one of the most volatile fucking markets for them to try and push into, because
it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. Y'all gonna shut that shit down.
The problem is it might already happen, because Modern Warfare 2 sold a lot on PC, and that was because it finally went. But that was kind of a perfect storm of things, because it's the first Call of Duty since Black Ops 3 to come out on Steam.
But I will say in that situation, you accept it as not the standard.
World War II. Sorry, WW2 was the last Call of Duty to come out on
Exception
Steam.
is not the standard for what?
a game doing phenomenally well at $70 on PC.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, this
They call it the exception, not the standard.
Yeah, maybe that, but no, that's what I'm saying is that with the Call of Duty one, it was the perfect storm that it did well, because it was finally on Steam. Like they finally realized that Battle.net isn't bringing in the PC players that they want, which is why we're going to start seeing a lot more of their games coming over to Steam, because as I turned around and said, if it ain't on Steam, it ain't worth shit.
Yeah, or just going back to Steam. Ubisoft is now bringing Assassin's Creed Valhalla to Steam. I'm like, yeah.
There you go.
So really quick, I got a couple ideas I want to share on this, and I feel
Origin's shutting down as well.
It is, yes.
Coffee was talking.
Yeah, really quick. I got a shot.
You point. Go.
Yeah, I have a thought I want to share, and I'm curious what Reggie thinks, because I feel like Reggie and I might be on the same page here. The first thing that comes to mind with $70 games for Xbox is I begin to think of the greater gaming landscape and how I almost categorize games in 4 categories, or in my opinion, so you guys can disagree, whether they're worth $70 or not. To me, obviously with some subjectivity, but some objectivity, to me, games that get published, for example, specific games from EA like Madden that are proven to use recycled assets, and I know they're paying a sum of money to the NFL for exclusivity of that license, is never going to be worth $70. And it pisses me off that EA will get an opportunity to just match the market and make themselves feel like, oh yeah, we're worth it for 70, and people are going to buy that anyway. That makes me furious. But for those AAA titles that we know go through dev cycles to try to impress, try to provide a product that is complete at release, even though they're not perfect, to me, they have that $70 worth to it. So, for example, I think even though God of War is not perfect and it has flaws and I've run into bugs, the levels of accessibility and some of their attention to detail and some of the presentation and the things they're doing, to me, that feels like, yes, I have achieved a game to me that's worth $70. Now, there's other games that I feel like there might be a little bit less so, but like what the issue I'm really coming down to is when I look at the market from the last time a price increase happened, or the last time we saw prices change. That was a long time ago. Does anybody remember when games first went to $60?
I'm gonna check.
PlayStation
It was
2
somewhere
era?
between 2005 and 2006 when the Xbox 360 released.
The 360, yep, the 360 dropped. And Xbox Live, we're selling it for
Mid 2000s.
Right, I'm thinking about how developer expectations, Q&A, networking have changed since then. And the price, I mean, since the $60 change in 2006, let's say, has remained the same. So let me throw out a theory, and I'm curious if you guys agree. Do you think that DLC and microtransactions are a result of forcing the price to stay at $60 and not matching the market value for what salaries are, for the cost of development, for all the accessibility that we expect games to be at the AAA level?
No,
because I feel like publishers are making money hand over fist right now, even at $60.
About developers, like
I'm thinking about more so the employees, like the actual grunt workers, not like the head people.
Yeah.
So
if I was
you guys would.
I would lean towards.
So let me.
Go
on.
Oh, I just want to say, like, the other thing I'm saying is, let's say that instead of $60 games, 7 years after the price hiked to 2000, so let's say in 2006 games turned to $60, and then in 2013 they're $70, but there's no DLC, none, or greatly reduced, or less microtransactions. Doesn't that make a difference to you?
Sorry, could you repeat that again, Kofi? You kind of went too fast for my brain to process.
That's okay. So, like, over basically a near 20-year span, the price has remained the same. But what if we had staggered the price and increased it slightly over time without having DLC? Maintained the no DLC model, But by 2013, games are $70, but no DLC. No,
Okay.
Then we would be
no additional
we would
cost.
be
Well,
now
hold on,
with
because Nappy. Hold on, let me get this out before I forget. Because Nappy will attest to this as well. The problem with your theory there, Kofi, is the fact that DLC is a byproduct of the console market finally catching up to something that the PC market had already had for years, and that's called expansions. Like that's problem number one. And with when they started doing DLCs, a lot of DLCs ended up just being very small things like a hat or a couple of maps. You very rarely got like the full experience of expansions, which is why DLC became a thing. Like that's just a byproduct of that console generation, the Xbox 360, PlayStation 5 generation, finally getting downloadable content and internet connectivity. That isn't a case. That isn't a byproduct of pricing. It's a byproduct of them finally catching up technology wise.
Well, wouldn't you say people are taking advantage of it?
We literally
the advantage of it's definitely the advantage of it. It was definitely to make more money, but it isn't. But the whole advent of DLC wasn't to to lessen the blow of the cost of development. It was to gain more money after the fact with smaller incremented DLC for less cost, like. Map pack for $15, I guarantee you, manpower-wise, it probably cost them like $5 out of that. So they could have sold it for $5 and broke even. They didn't need to sell it for $15.
I will say something.
Hold on, I'm still talking. Now, as far as microtransactions goes, the reason why microtransactions ended up becoming a thing is not only as a result of the PC market, because the PC market was hit by microtransactions first. Not mobile, it was actually PC that got hit by that first. But it was also a case of DLC started to get phased out really hard because they realized, companies like Activision and such realized that people just stopped buying their DLC because map packs started to separate player bases. And if people couldn't buy a map pack, they just stopped playing it because they couldn't play with their friends because their friends had all the DLC. Like that. So that's when they started making maps for free and then introduced battle passes, introduced microtransactions. It was a way for them to get more money. Because again, I'd like to point out, and a good example of this is Evolve. When that came out, everybody pitched a fit because they were like, ain't no way just changing the color of my gun from fucking to blue should cost me $7 fucking. Because I guarantee you could, if you sold a bunch of those blue skins for $1 a pop, you'd make back the money.
Yep.
So it isn't a case of offsetting costs. It's a case of just greed. Because if they wanted to offset the cost,
also remember
I said this about Titanfall 2. Specifically, there's some Titanfall skins in that I was like, I'm not paying $20 for this. If they sold them for like $4 a pop, I'd buy them because it feels like that is worth the price. That feels like that would offset the price and give a little profit to the manpower that it took to make this skin, to design this skin, and then a little profit for, obvious profit. But no, they charge them for like $15 to $20 a pop. And that's just companies overreaching with greed for profit.
And all of this is just a fancy looking shader.
Yeah, you're right. There's more nuance to it.
Also, Kofi, remember, there is also something called DLC on disc, day one. So there's also made use of that.
That's what I'm more pointing at. That Dante has a great point. Like, for example, Blood and Wine, that's a legit DLC that I think follows a traditional format that PC gamers have loved, and we all like the idea of getting more story and more...
That's because CD Projekt Red predominantly are a PC company.
That's true. And there are console developers that develop for console that have done a respectable job as well.
Maybe
less
also,
so. There are examples.
Borderlands 2 had amazing DLC.
There you go. Yeah, Borderlands. Or
even Forbidden West, not Forbidden West. I mean,
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon Zero Dawn DLC was
Horizon Zero Dawn or EP Island. Yeah, there's examples.
EP Island DLC. Yeah,
But like-
there are
Don't worry,
some
Forbidden West will have a new DLC.
Just like you said, there's some companies that say, "Hey, our DLC is, basically out next week, but it's for an additional price."
Mhm.
And it's that to me sounds like, man, I just wish I could somehow pay one price and feel like I can get everything that you're working on within that calendar
I
year.
don't
And I
think,
get it. Then there's season passes and it
I
goes
don't
on.
Yeah, that's the
so
problem.
here was that.
That's the problem.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think that's going to work because we have something called the season pass.
Yep.
Part time 3. Like you can Borderlands is one of the games that you buy one season pass. No, you need to buy 3 fucking season passes.
It's true.
So it's going to be a never-ending cycle with this one.
Yeah, it's the same with Call of Duty. Actually, it's the same with Call of Duty because here's the thing: they call them battle passes, but they are effectively just annual fucking season passes. Like every other month, you pay the price of what used to be a season pass to get like all the maps that they release from the beginning to end of the game's life cycle. But now we pay the same price for fucking skins.
And like, here's like another example that I guess is a little unique to me. I do not like that Gran Turismo 7 has microtransactions. Sport had it. I think even 6 was the first one that had like you could spend real dollars to buy cars. But each of those games, GT6, GT Sport, and GT7, have done a good job of giving you free updates. So you can pay the $60 for Sport and 6 or $70 for 7. And I've gotten maybe 30 cars, 10 new tracks for no additional cost. So I can see that. To me, I guess I'm saying if I can pay this $70 up front and get that type of experience for free, I like that. But not all games are doing that. Some are charging you 70, and then they're charging you more for more stuff.
Yeah, that's the problem. And the problem is it is a factor of greed because there's 2 examples of games that recently came out where it's absolute proof that they put greed before gameplay or actually completing their game for the simple reason. I'll give you 2 examples. Darktide. There are features that are literally saying coming soon, but they've got a full fucking store ready to go to sell you microtransactions. I don't care if it's cosmetic. They put more time. That time that could have gone into making that store to sell you those cosmetics could have been put into actually implementing the fucking crafting. Another one, and this is a game that apparently it's getting all right reviews, but if you look at Steam, people are not fucking happy about it. Is what was it? It's that Marvel game, Midnight.
Midnight Suns.
Midnight Suns. Yeah, Midnight Suns. Right, there are features missing in that game as well. A full fucking store of microtransactions, including an in-game currency that they are selling you, and I'll bring it up on screen for you to all to see. They've already got this shit ready for you. If you want that 1,200 Eclipse Toad credits, £8, please.
I guess Disney did not learn from Star Wars, so I don't know. Disney, you picking some bad people with your IPs.
No.
Why does the store
not
look like the Avengers store though? Like that shit looks just like the fucking Avengers currency
Here's
store.
the thing, Nappy. Do you want to know what hurts? Do you want to know what hurts the most about Midnight Suns?
What is it?
It's Firaxis.
What?
It's the people that made XCOM.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
That's what I'm saying. Like the people that actually made XCOM. Wait, how many of them are there? Did they get like a change of staff or something?
No, because remember they're owned by 2K. So this was either 2K.
Oh, this is 2K's doing.
This is either 2K. No, because the worst thing is Firaxis was owned by 2K when they put out XCOM Enemy Unknown and Enemy Within and XCOM 2. So this is either a recent 2K fucking choice or this is Disney telling them to put in microtransactions. Because I guarantee you Firaxis wouldn't have fucking done it by their lonesome. This was ups.
I gotta say, like, that's like maybe there's a change in the staff or something. I don't know because I can't say it's Disney because unless Disney just said fuck you and I didn't learn my lesson from Battlefront 2.
Listen, these are the same guys who decided, the last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker were fit to put out in cinemas. I just like to point that out. This is that same company, and they thought Solo, a fucking Star Wars story, was a good idea. And the only good thing that they put out is literally their TV shows, and that's because the people behind it are pretty much fucking anti-Kathleen Kennedy. And I just point out The Mandalorian and Andor, because Andor is actually a good fucking show. Anyway, please continue.
No. Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead. I will go after you.
I'll say this. I'll finish off by saying this. The problem is,
Zero too.
I want to hear Zero as well. The problem is 60 with this extra $10. All right. The problem is with the way that with the fact. The reason why I believe this extra $10, as much as people like Omar will defend it and say, oh, it goes towards improving games and shit like that. The reason why I don't believe that is if the last couple of fucking years, if the last half fucking decade of microtransactions, season passes, and shit like that haven't improved the state of fucking games, an extra $10 on top of a base price ain't gonna fucking do that either. And one of the biggest things that everybody seems to goddamn miss, and this is the fucking truth that you guys need to live in, because this is the fucking world that you fucking set for us. If they're going up to $70, if we get your all-digital goddamn fucking, if we get your all-digital world that everybody seems to be pushing towards, these games are going to be $70 for over a goddamn year, probably 2 years before we even see a price drop in them.
We already seen it with what's it called, Capcom. It's not releasing Monster Hunter physical. It's only digital.
Yeah, this is going to $70 games is going to fuck the pre-owned market even more, because now pre-owned games are going to be around the price they were about fucking a decade ago. They're going to be around $50 to $60 goddamn dollars pre-owned.
Actually, you can't even get pre-owned games anymore because the disc only has a couple kilobytes on it.
Yeah, the disc don't even got the game on it. You still need an internet connection. So my thing is, they're charging $70 because they can. It has nothing to do with quality. It has nothing to do with shit. So I hate hearing that argument like, oh, you're paying for no. They're charging you that because you allowed them to, and that's where we're at right now.
Yep. You guys
had everybody rebelled and just not bought shit, we wouldn't be dealing with $70 shit, but we are.
Yeah. Wait, I'm that lonely man on the fucking island who's not bought Modern Warfare 2 yet because it's still £60.
Is it okay if I buy it on cdkeys.com for a discounted price?
Yes, because Okay, so here's the problem with ones like that. Somebody already paid the $70 or something to possibly get it, but no, go ahead because they ain't getting that fucking money. They're not getting the money from that $40. No. Anyway, Zero, I want your opinion. If you've got any opinion on this, considering eventually Nintendo's going to go $70 as as
Oh, fuck, they better not.
And, by the way,
they absolutely are.
If Nintendo go that way, they already. Here's the thing: if Nintendo go that way, I feel sorry for. I can feel my wallet straining even more for the simple reason. When I was talking about the pre-owned market for like $70 games, it will be exceptionally worse for Nintendo games because a lot of Nintendo fans don't seem to trade in their games. The price for pre-owned Nintendo games is pretty much always close to full price, unless it's literally a fucking launch title. Because Breath of the Wild would still cost me. Pre-owned, it would still cost me CEX Breath of the Wild. It would cost me pre-owned to buy. It would cost me £42. That's about $46, $47.
By the time we get to next generation, I'm pretty sure we won't even have pre-owned games anymore. They don't. They want those sales.
That's the problem. They'll get those sales by keeping the games at $70 on digital storefronts for years on years.
Even if they have physical copies, even if you buy the physical disc, even if there's nothing on the disc, just the license, like you're gonna have the disc verify your license. It's gonna be a one-time license verification.
And y'all fucking allowed it. Anyway, Zero thoughts.
And then the disc is just a momental at that point. That's what they're gonna end up doing because they don't like they're not getting any money off of these pre-owned off of these secondhand games just circulating.
No, they are not.
I need to say something that don't take a thing that we are fucking allowed it. We don't dictate the market, sadly.
I'm sorry, but how many $70 games have you bought?
It's the casuals that do.
But hold on. But here's the thing: every little bit helps. Dude,
no, it doesn't. It doesn't help because I literally did it when Shadow of Wars first revealed that they're doing microtransactions in their game. I didn't buy their game. I have yet to play that game, and still they released that game and allowed microtransactions to exist, despite the fact that I boycotted that game. And later, they removed the microtransactions. Like now, the hardcore gamers, sadly, we don't dictate the market. Look at
you do.
We don't. We do.
So no hardcore gamers bought Forbidden West or Gran Turismo or God of War or any other $70 game that's come out in the past 2 years. Hardcore gamers didn't buy Returnal. Casuals damn sure didn't buy Returnal because that shit ain't even sell a mill.
Dude,
yes, we did. We did. Casuals also did not buy Demon Souls. Are you going to tell me casuals bought Demon Souls? Are you going to say and tell me that?
Before you focus on PlayStation, focus on the company that literally started doing this. And they sold millions with their games. They didn't take a hit.
PlayStation was already planning to do this before their console dropped. It doesn't matter.
It was 2K that started.
Dude, yes, 2K. 2K. Yeah, what happened with
2K started it. 2K started, but again, we could have prevented the first party publishers that we actually care about, Sony and fucking Microsoft and shit. We could have prevented them from doing this.
We couldn't.
We opted not to.
And by the way, I'd also like to point out that 2K doesn't do this all the time with all their games, because I'd just like to point out Marvel's Midnight Suns is not a $70 game.
Do you think they would get away with Marvel's Midnight Suns being 70?
Yeah,
they would be eviscerated.
And that's the point! That's the point!
No one buys. The reason that 2K was able to so easily go to $70 without any
because of
backlash. It's because no one buys the base version of 2K because the VC costs so damn much.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe
you're just better out kicking $100.
Farrell, you make a really valid point because I haven't bought the base version of Madden in fucking years. I don't do it.
I'd also like.
I'm spending $100 on that game regardless because I want the bigger version with the much.
And you want to talk to me about $70?
I do.
Because he's not buying base versions. You're paying $70
for the base version of the game. Call of Duty. I didn't pay $70 for Call of Duty. I paid $80 and got the Vault Edition because I also had a $10 gift card. I'm not gonna pay that for the base version if I don't have to. I'm going to want more.
Because here's the thing. Because the version that Jubei bought, the Vault Edition, would have been $80 10 years ago. It would have been the same price.
It would have.
It's the base game. It's the base games that have gone up, not the special editions.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Because when it comes to 2K or Madden, the top price of Madden is $100. Top price of 2K is $100, and that hasn't changed. The only thing that changed is the base price.
And also, by the way, correct me if I am wrong. I might be wrong on my timeline, but wasn't their first $70 game? Wasn't that the NBA after LeBron James's death?
Yeah, it was Kobe.
Yeah, it was Kobe. Yeah, so it was and that was the first one after his death. So
Amadeus, I agree there. I spent $100 on the WWE game too because I wanted that NWO edition. I wanted that. I wasn't gonna pay. I wasn't gonna get the base edition for that. There's some things that you can incite me to do that.
This is the weird thing. The WWE 2K22 didn't come out at $70.
It was 60. Yeah, I paid more because I wanted that NWO shit.
So
I wanted it.
2K have been walking this back because they realize it doesn't work with all of their games. Some of their games they still are trying to do it, but not all of their games. Borderlands, I might be wrong, but I think Borderlands 3 is still somehow 65 fucking pounds on Steam. Some fucking how it's still 65 pounds.
Weird. It's been on sale on PlayStation for like
it's
a
on
lot.
sale. It's on sale now. Oh no, I apologize. It's because they're. Oh no, I apologize. It's 50. The 60 pound one is the super deluxe edition.
Yeah, so it goes on sale and then go back to normal price.
The 65 pound one is the super deluxe edition, so it's not the standard. The standard is still 60. So yeah, no, 2K have been walking this back on a lot of their titles, Omar. Like, just because they started it doesn't mean they're being consistent with it. Like, I've not.
But they literally started it. But that's what I'm trying to say.
But here's the thing.
If they started it and it didn't,
it's for one of their games.
The only reason they do it is because it makes the higher tiered editions look more attractive. If the $70 base version is $70, you pay $10 more and you get a fuck ton more shit than the base version. Why in the hell would you buy the $70 version?
And I'd like to point out that they've done it, that PlayStation have sold $70 games more consistently than 2K. Like, they've sold more $70 games than 2K. Like, as in, like, the volume. Like, if you look at all the games PlayStation has sold at $70, I think it does eclipse the games that 2K has sold at $70.
Oh, yeah, because all 2K has sold is basketball.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. Again, it's the same argument I use with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask when I say Majora's Mask is better than Ocarina of Time. It doesn't matter that you did it first, it's who does it better. And PlayStation sells $70 games better than 2K. Just because they weren't first doesn't mean they're not better. It doesn't mean they're better at it. So yes, you do. Your $70, Omar, for Returnal, for Horizon, for God of War Ragnarok, that all added to the problem. Which is why I, unlike Jubei, you fucker, you traitor, you goddamn snake in the grass, have not bought Modern Warfare 2, because as a PC player, I'm putting a fucking stand on it and saying, no, my £60 / $70 is not going to be adding to this fucking problem. I'll buy it when it's discounted or when you give it to me for a real price, but it is not getting my $70 because guess what? I have a little thing called integrity. Hence, again, I proved that with Death Stranding. I proved that with so many other fucking games. I'm proving it with the PlayStation 5 because I'm just waiting for them to release Demon's Souls and Ragnarok on PC any day now for them to announce it. And I'm proving it now. It's a little thing called integrity.
You forgot one thing, also another thing.
Go on.
You forgot the backlog.
My backlog is insane.
Library backlog is insane.
Yeah.
It's wild. Sorry, we haven't even heard from Zero yet.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just patiently waiting.
Go on, Omar. Go on, Zero.
Wow, it's a lot. I guess to start with, I'll lean into Omar's point. Listen, generally speaking, there's no ethical consumption in capitalism here. So, like, I understand that you don't want to feel responsible. You are, but don't take it as like this big, major negative thing. It is very difficult to manage in a space like this. When like I want to play God of War, and certainly I can wait, but like particularly if you aren't one of those people who can just buy a whole bunch of games in a given random time. If you certainly just want to play God of War, and that is the 1 or 2 games you will probably get for the year, or at least at the $70 price, go for it. Understand the implication behind it, but like go for it anyway, because there are still other ways to sort of fight this system and change and make sure that the gaming space is better and fair and equal as best as it can be. But like, you're participating in capitalism. The system is rigged against you from the beginning, so there's nothing you can really do about that except actively fight. And it is not one single battle, it is multiple skirmishes to the very end, and you might not live to see the end of it. To Kofi, I actually do agree with what you were saying, with just, I think, the realization, and people have been saying it for the most part, it is what they figured out, the end goal is always how do we get more money out of you. Certainly want to give you a great product. There are certainly developers like the Hades developers, or the Limbo developers, or even the Mario Rabbids developers, dudes who just like, I just want to make a thing and I hope that you like it. Cool, that's perfectly fine. The majority of the industry is trying to get paid. You're like, you don't have all the technology in God of War unless you don't want to get paid. You don't keep pumping out Call of Duties unless you want to get paid. Same with Madden and all the sports games. Like, we need to get this bread because we are a massive multi-million, multi-billion-dollar company, and we need to keep these revenues coming in because we got shareholders to answer to. So of course they're going to try to figure out a way to nickel and dime you. You know, the Dreamcast had DLC. It might have been the first console to like have it properly, because Phantasy Star had it, and so did Samba de Amigo, which is not surprising because it's a musical game, and Phantasy Star was one of the first like console versions of an MMO. So it's not shocking. Most people got introduced to it probably during Xbox's era with the Mac packs for Halo, which was much more closer to what Dante was speaking about in the PC space of it all. This isn't an expansion pack or an additional pack to something that we already have.
I somewhat disagree. I would say their first my timeline might be off, but I would actually turn around and say Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion would have been their first introduction.
I'd be willing to bet more. I'd be willing to bet more people played Halo.
I would say that's the first. That was the first instant. That would be one of the biggest first instances of it on that console. Not the biggest, but one of the first instances.
What I mean is most people's, like most people's, like, for example, college age kids, and some of them actually played a lot of Elder Scrolls too. But like when Halo was king, Matt, you know, I never owned an Xbox. I personally bought like 4 map packs. Just because it was part of our college dorm and that's what we were doing. But I already understood that because I came from PC gaming when I was younger. Like I was aware of expansion packs and all this other type of stuff. So inevitably that moves forward until they sort of figure out like, well, how do we just sort of keep you playing while like having to support you? Because it kind of makes sense in games like Halo or WoW, where like it's an ever living, ever evolving world, or we just need people in this space.
I would agree with that maybe Halo did it best with the map packs, because they like, how many maps was it to a map pack? It was like was it like 5 or 6?
Maybe
it was like
4 or
6.
5. Yeah,
like
somewhere
about 5 or 6. 5 or 6.
But but again, it's a case of like the bastardization of ideas, because like originally DLC was like the Shivering Isles. Yes, you'll get the odd horse armor DLC, but like a majority of it is like Blood and Wine is like that's a later example, but like Shivering Isles or other things for games, and then you move on to like the Halo, which is a console game trying to adopt DLC, and that's the best that they could do. Then you get to Call of Duty, which gave you like 3 maps for a map pack, and it was like £15 each.
Yes, and then when people complained, they were like, "Well, how do we get them? Like, we want people to buy our map packs. So, like, how do we ensure that they do that? But we can't do it the old way. But the way we tried it isn't really working, and like, inevitably, this leads you up to like the season pass, where you know." What you were saying, Kobe, about the idea of like, I sort of just want to pay this one thing and just sort of know that this one thing will just give me sort of everything that I have.
No. Season passes were around at the same time. What eventually evolved from that was battle passes, when they turned around and said, "Oh, okay, we'll give you the maps for free, but not really, because we're going to ask you to buy battle passes."
To me, they're splitting the same hair. They're the same word as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah,
because a battle pass in Apex is just the season pass. Yeah. It's one and the same.
But but in Apex, you still got the same fucking map for like the next year.
Absolutely, or the next 3 months, if you will. So like you keep getting this idea of like, well, how do we keep nickel and diming the people? While listen. Some of these people are really still trying to make good games. God of War is a good game. Returnal is a good game. I'm sure Starfield and the rest of the Xbox games coming out later will be good games. But like, let's just not pretend that it's both of why we're paying $70, and that is we want to raise this price. You're very lucky we could not figure out how to raise it on you a decade ago. But now that we have, we're going to continue to do so, because what we've seen is that loot boxes, battle passes, season passes, cosmetics, extra DLC, all of this stuff is like extra revenue. So we know they're willing to pay extra revenue. What else are they willing to pay? And clearly, and what no one has said, and the very truth of the matter is, as much as people like to scream about $70, it is not that much. It is a $10 increase. It is a lot for some people. I completely understand. But if we talk about the hardcore gamer, the gamers who buy the custom controllers, the gamers who participate, who have like very heavy opinions on the Game Awards, who can like recite off like at least 5 developers and like concept artists and sound designers, these people usually have far more disposable income.
I don't. I take great offense to that.
Hey, what I'll say is that not yet. I'll even put good fortune onto you. Not yet. You still might hold on to your values, and that's important. But the truth of the matter is, $70, a $10 increase is not a lot of money to me. I just spent $10 a day going to McDonald's.
Okay, so it's first of all, it's the $10 price tag. I agree. Like, fundamentally, doesn't seem that much materialistically. But from a principle standpoint, it's pretty much like it's pretty much like they just it's like Mr. Burns blotting out the sun over Springfield for me. Principally.
Absolutely.
And it's even more so when they do that on games that are front loaded with those microtransactions, with those battle passes, because it's like you already have so many ways to nickel and dime people. You're just compounding it even further and trying to be a snake oil salesman and sell me that it's to improve the game, when you said that when you added microtransactions, and I ain't seen nothing but a regression in game development.
You're right. Absolutely. They do it because they can. We have a very expensive luxury ass hobby. That is exactly what gaming is. Yeah. It is a luxury hobby. It is expensive to get into for the most part. I mean, there's some cheap options, but this hobby costs money constantly.
And it's not going to be a budget hobby, unfortunately. It's this sort of weird mid luxury that exists. It's like, it's not, I hate when people say like, oh, you got 6 Bugattis, you can't afford the 70. It's like, it's not about affording. If I don't want to pay it, I don't want to pay it, because if you feel like you're overpaying on a price, believe me, I know rich people. They do not overpay on things. This is how they stay rich. Like, in matter of fact, they try to find as much deals as possible, or they just pay what it is. But just because it's that expensive, like, don't discount where they draw the line in the sand. It's just not always going to be equal, because people's principles are very different. And truth be told, a lot of people's principles don't exceed that $10 mark. Like, it's not a thing for them. Now, I think, me personally, I think more people are in on the game than I think others realize or like to think. Like, the casual markets doesn't know. I think most people actually know. They have a firm understanding. They're in on the take. They just don't particularly care that much, because it's not a substantial amount of money to really make me like wake up. Like, I'm not rolling out of bed to be upset over $10. Now, if you jump to 100, you get a bunch of people upset. That is easy. Like, easy 100, bunch of folks upset.
Yeah, but here's the problem. By the time I grow up enough to be able to piss on Neil Druckmann's fucking grave, they will be at $100 because they'll take it slowly. Or at that point, they're going to be... because at that point, Game Pass will be selling us $100 subscriptions when they become the digital blockbusters. They become the Netflix of gaming, where we have to pay $100.
Just that, right? Like,
I will say it goes one or two ways. Gaming stays a niche hobby, that only, a small select few people play. When you look at the global scope, how many people that exist. Or mass adoption takes place, and games actually do become cheaper over time because more people are playing them. And you're not going to get away with charging exorbitant prices to the masses if you want to really expand your player base.
And I think that's
so-
it, Pharaoh. Like, there's definitely a ceiling here. I think it's going to take a little bit of a long time before we get there, but no, I think there's clearly a ceiling because they still want to continue to make billions of dollars in the industry, and you can't price yourself out of the billion-dollar industry. So you've got to figure out a way just to keep it just right. And every once in a while, somebody's going to try to push buttons. That's just how they operate. But then there are going to be other people who try to shift it downward and say, like, all of my games from here on out are going to be $30. We're going to give you tight $30 experiences. And that might mean something to a lot of people because they could still be very fun. And you don't lose out on anything.
If for instance, like in this generation, the player base gamers expanded by like 200 million, but they were only buying like, cheaper used games and things like that, eventually the price would go down so that they would buy the newer game.
Yeah. And, because like the companies don't like the GameStops or KB Toys or the games of the world. Like they don't really actively help them that much because they're reselling stuff. They prefer their Toys R Us's, their Walmarts, who don't have a particular return policy, or at least not in the same way that GameStop is developing. They're perfectly fine with the demise of GameStop because now you stop reselling my games. Like you're cutting me out of a profit and you're actively making profit off of my cut. Why do I want you in my space? Like I want you out of here as quickly as possible. Took a long time, but it seems to be on the downward trend now, particularly because what they figured out, why don't we just sell it to them digitally? Or God forbid, it's easy enough. I don't ever have to step into a GameStop anyway because I order most of my stuff off Amazon. Still paying full price for that. They're not getting their cut. Or and Nappy said it, backlog. I could theoretically have bought every new game that have come out for this year. It took me 3 weeks just to beat God of War. What purpose would it serve to just have all these games sitting here? Inevitably, you just stumble across sales because games are forever. If you play a bunch of JRPGs like Kofi, these are 120-hour experiences over a year. Like 120 hours, and if you manage to do 120 hours a month, that's still a lot of gaming. That doesn't include when me and Jube play like Destiny for 6 months. That doesn't include if Pharaoh gets on a Madden kick and just I'm just playing Madden for 6 months. Hell, that doesn't even include if Omar just decided I want to do Borderlands again and just run that back with friends. Every time you're playing Borderlands, you're not buying a new game, and thus the clock is ticking to whenever that inevitable sale comes down. And that's what I mean by it's like there's no malintent for buying these $70 games. It's
we don't want you playing this for too long.
It's like there's no malintent in buying these $70 games, but like I think people recognize it for what it is. And if you don't, you should just recognize it for what it is. Like they are trying to get you.
Yeah.
If it's just how much it is worth to you to understand that. The easiest way is think of a strip club. You walk in, you understand they're here to take your money. They are not going home with you. They're not going to be your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend if you go to male strip clubs or whatever. Like they're going to say and do whatever to get money out of you. If you understand that, if you're in on the take, then, fair exchange is no robbery. But if you think they fooled you in some way, which then one begs the question, have you not been paying attention? Because how did they fool you? You've seen it with the DLCs. You've seen it with the season passes. You've seen it with the expansion passes. They're doing their best to take money out of you. How much is it worth to you?
To throw a spanner in the argument of how did they fool you? Well, to be fair, as much as I like the game, Cyberpunk 2077 kind of fooled us. Callisto Protocol is another recent example of them fooling us because, when we expect games to come out functional and as one thing that they've promised and then them not be another, I'm sorry, at that point, they have fooled us.
I would say that I would swap Callisto for Pokemon. I could agree with Pokemon. Cyberpunk, yes. I still think Cyberpunk sometimes might have collapsed under its own weight.
Oh no, I agree.
Certainly think that happened with Callisto Protocol. Like, I sort of followed everything was happening. Like, they didn't promise big and lavish anything. What people saw was Dead Space is back.
No, but what we saw,
they just zeroed in.
In fact, no. What I'm more getting at is what we saw from them was footage that looked like it was running that definitely was running at a smooth frame rate with no stuttering.
Oh, true, and absolutely. And I can say wouldn't support the companies that do. I will stand 10 toes down for the Monster Hunter team over at Capcom, who provide constant quality updates for free, mind you, for free. They could charge you just like Destiny and everybody else does for free, except for their traditional expansion packs. And support that game until its inevitable demise. But nobody brings up that because a lot of people don't talk about Monster Hunter like that. But the transition from Monster Hunter World to Iceborne, probably pitch perfect. Pitch perfect.
Microsoft does that too.
With who?
With all their games. They just did it with Hellblade. Yes, they do quality of life, State of Decay. They do quality of life upgrades to all their games for free.
I'll certainly give them credit. Hellblade is not a always online game or forever online game. It's not designed by that. It's the same way, like, I'm sure Sony could provide free updates for God of War. Like, I've beaten that game. I'm not really going back to it. So I'm done with it. A game where I'm constantly coming back to that they could just charge me a map pack price for new monsters. They could just charge me the map pack price for additional weapons or that extra location. They gave me all of that for free and then said, well, we'd like another $40 for this big expansion that was practically a whole new game, and then carry that out to the rest of the game's life cycle.
All right. Right. Well, I think we've exhausted this topic. Do you guys want to do the next topic? Because it is just going to be us bitching about the state of current affairs.
What's the next topic?
Basically, well, Omar wanted to talk about this. It's basically like the state of modern games being unfinished, like Callisto Protocol, and I have a couple that I want to add to that as well.
Yeah.
That's fair.
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
as long as we don't drag it out, we can knock it out. Because
It's gonna be easy.
Yep. Games coming out unfinished. Games coming unfinished. So this month, like the beginning of this month and the tail end of next month, actually gave us a fucking number of games that have been released in, quite frankly, piss poor and unfinished states. And the games that I actually have a list of them here. So the games, for example, in my mind, and have been proven, is Marvel's Midnight Suns, the Callisto Protocol, because everybody forgets they call it Callisto Protocol, but it's actually technically the Callisto Protocol. Warhammer 40k Dark Tide, and Evil West is another example. And there have been a litany of other examples throughout the years. Bayonetta 3 being an example for me back from October, and the reason why I say that game is unfinished is because it ain't optimized to shit. Because optimization falls under it being finished, which means it's 100% out of the gate. I don't know about Modern Warfare 2. I'd have to ask Jubei if he felt like that was unfinished or if there was things missing at launch. But yeah, fucking Overwatch 2. Another fucking example of a game just coming out fucking unfinished. I see Jubei just holding his mouth because it looks like he's about to piss himself laughing because I mentioned Overwatch 2.
Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights is another example. Like, all of these games are just coming out unfinished. And this kind of
Battlefield
2042.
Battlefield.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
I forgot that game exists.
Same. And funny enough, Battlefield 2042 on Steam, on sale, currently for
$5. Also in Game Pass.
Hold on, not $5. Not $5. I don't think it's $5.
Crossfire X.
It's £16, so I think it's about
No.
$120.
Crossfire X was finished. It's just garbage.
Yeah.
No, it came broken. It couldn't
Being
even
broken
be
does not
reviewed.
mean
No, it does.
not finished.
No, I'm
it is
sorry.
garbage.
No,
Not
hold on.
finished.
Jube, I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. Hence, it's the reason why I say Bayonetta 3 is unfinished. Like, yes, from a certain standpoint, if you didn't want to be fully anal like I'm being right now, it's a finished game. But optimization to me, if a game is not optimized, it is not finished. Because you didn't take the time to optimize it. It's like Callisto Protocol.
But what if you optimized it, but you did a terrible job optimizing it? That's still a finished game. It's just F quality work.
That's what I was thinking. Like, what's a
Why
bad
did you
game
release
that's
it to the public
optimized?
though?
But
If you
either
know
way,
the game is broken,
Hold on. Wait. Before we'll everybody talk, because this is more of a discussion than an argument, though I get the feeling, Omar, you're going to turn it into an argument. Like, all of these are examples of the video game industry, and like the whole idea of $70 games to improve quality, or microtransactions improving quality, is a load of bullshit in my opinion, considering games like Dark Tide, games like Midnight Suns, like, they are unfinished games but somehow have a fully functioning microtransaction system inside of them. Like, that shit's finished. That shit is ready to go at launch. But a lot of other things like crafting in Dark Tide is not ready to go. So, like, is this the state of games going forward? Because these are multi-billion-dollar corporations releasing games, not in the sense of Callisto Protocol, even though they had 150 Sony
150 Sony dev, but
Where was that Sony quality control? They had 150 people. Where was that quality control at?
Not done
their
talking.
focus was mocap. That's it.
So
you need 150 people to do motion cap now?
Yes, they literally did motion cap. That's it. They didn't touch gameplay.
Hellblade doesn't even have 150 people on their staff, and they're doing mocap. I don't think you need 150 people to do fucking mocap. Sorry. I do not.
I want to go to the voice of reason. I want to go to the voice of calm. The other voice of calm. Nabu, like, considering you've played and seen Callisto Protocol, considering you are playing like Dark Tide, and I know you're enjoying it, but I also know you're not an idiot, and you can at least look at it and see that there's clearly things missing that should be there at launch, and it literally says coming soon. Like, what are your thoughts on it? Because with Callisto Protocol, I should add, they've already announced a year's worth of content coming with Callisto Protocol, and one of them is New Game fucking Plus. How is that not out at launch? That makes zero fucking sense.
Harder mode is whatchamacallit, is also part of it that is working on. Animation, that animation is still working on.
Why the fuck did this game even come out then?
I don't know. That's why I wanted to make this a topic. Because here is the thing.
No, Omar, no, that isn't a thing. What is a thing is Nappy talking. So, Nappy, please, give us your thoughts.
Okay, say the game's coming out unfinished is unfortunately our fault for us believing the hype of all these damn games. Even for me, like, I got back-to-back first Gotham Knights, then Warhammer Dark Tide. I got hit double whammy with unfinished games. That damn Dark Tide beta baited me into the game. I kept all my weapons thinking I was going to be able to decompose them to make better equipment. I still got my inventory full of items I can't decompose of yet. Yeah, it's kind of a sad say. Like, I miss the days when you used to get like that complete product, and that was it. There was no like, I don't like the day one patches. I don't like the fact with the optimizations issues and all this other crazy stuff. Release this now. We'll get or community just comes together and like, we're gonna make a patch to fix this game. We're gonna do like Skyrim, like Calypso Protocol. For PC, they already made a patch where basically you can load all of the shaders at the start of the game, like literally in the menu, which may take like around 5 to 10 minutes, but it gives you a smooth playing experience, which the community shouldn't have to come up with that.
Haven't we been saying that about Bethesda for literally 2 decades?
Yeah, but now it's like I'm tired. I'm tired. I just want a finished game on day one. Like, and now like I'm about to buy Crisis Core because I'm really big on Final Fantasy. I'm really curious about if they going to do some changes to the story. And I'm just thinking, and that just reminded me of Final Fantasy VII coming to mind as an optimized mess. Literally using the same engine. I hope this game doesn't come out as an optimized mess. So I don't know. I've been having bad luck. I honestly just went back to Warframe and to my happy space. Like, but yeah, they honestly the state of games. Like, I wish we need to get on these companies about making half-ass products and just make a complete product. Make sure it's optimized very well. I understand PC is a little bit harder to optimize because you got a spectrum of different hardwares, AMD, Nvidia, different chipsets, different code and stuff. But for consoles, there's really no excuse. That's all I got.
You're right.
It's
talk no jutsu in full effect.
We have been PC has been fucked for like the this year has been fucked for PC as far as optimization. Like it's fucking sad. It's sad when the fucking pillar that you have to like the pillar of quality as far as like optimization is fucking Call of Duty. Like for some reason Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was rather fucking optimized at launch.
Dante, here's the thing that gets me. PC isn't optimized, but you build these games on PC. It don't make no fucking sense.
That's what makes zero fucking sense to me. Like they're like, oh,
you use a PC to make this shit, and you can't optimize it for the shit you're making the shit on. I don't understand that.
You know, like, oh, I'm sorry, all of our developing PCs have all the latest and great technology. And you guys don't.
I guarantee,
like you broke motherfuckers that had better technology. We could.
Yeah, that's exactly how companies treat us.
See,
like,
that would make sense. That would make sense if they've got the latest, greatest technology inside the PCs. If they're making these games, it makes total sense why they're coming out in fucking messes. Because all their 4090s fucking set on fire.
Oh god, not the 4090s. You know, the thing is, you put that power cable in just slightly off. You want to start a fire.
Yeah, you legitimately could. And no one's buying a fucking 4080 because that 4080 tanked like a motherfucker.
I'm so happy that scalpers are stuck with their 4080s. Don't buy a 4080 from a scalper, people.
Don't buy a 4060 either. Don't buy any of them. Like, if you've got to go anywhere, buy a fucking 4090, but make sure it's a water-cooled one so it doesn't overheat. Or buy the 7900, which I'm waiting for. I'm just waiting for benchmarks for that.
I'm getting that AMD card, bro. It's gonna happen.
Yep.
It's gonna fucking happen.
I was about to say, because the 4090, it isn't about the power consumption. It's more so about the cable. It's literally the cable itself.
Yeah, the one that they packaged with and recommended that you use sets on fucking fire.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like, it's like the socket and the cable, like, together causes an issue with a little bit of human error. You need to make sure that thing is snugged in tight, straight, not bent, not leaning. It's crazy.
Okay, again, Callisto Protocol's fucking New Game Plus and hardcore mode comes out February of next year. Dude,
I don't know how New Game Plus takes.
You know what the problem is? They're working on this instead of actually fixing the issue with the game at hand.
No. The problem is they didn't delay it until February of next year.
They should.
Because they couldn't. Their whole point is they had to come out before Dead Space came out. Otherwise, they would have been like, this ain't Dead Space, bye. Like, they had no fucking choice.
This game was gonna come. Okay, so there was, guys.
Omar, you can go next, but I just like to get this point out. It's going to be a fucking... I might just keel over and have a fucking heart attack if Dead Space comes out in a complete, stable fucking state, because then I might need to deep fry my hat and eat it because EA would have done something better than somebody else for once.
There is an 18-minute gameplay footage for Dead Space, if you want to watch.
Oh, that doesn't mean shit. I'm sorry. Callisto Protocol, fucking Cyberpunk 2077.
They showed well. It showed well. It showed
exactly
well.
On their fucking 4090s.
Like, none of that means shit to me anymore, because clearly, it's like the fucking, it's like what I've said about betas. Like, betas are not betas anymore. They're not they are literally the finished game. Like, Dark Tide has proven my fucking point beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah,
like,
it did.
Dark Tide, like betas are no longer betas to test for bugs. They are, or to show you what the game is like. They are basically fucking demos. They are to show you the fact that this is actually the finished fucking game.
Yep. Hey, at least I can have faith that Street Fighter 6 is actually going to come out done. I mean, at least there's that.
Yeah,
Are they going to really change up the formula,
but no,
though?
I don't trust when these devs put out gameplay anymore, because it's a case of this is a test build. Like, this is the most stable build you've got. This is a vertical slice that you're showing us. This is not the complete game, because that vertical slice might look really good that you're showing us, but when you add it to the rest, if you try and add it, if it's like you've taken out a Jenga piece. You've taken out a Jenga piece from a Jenga tower, right? And you've shown us that piece, and that piece looks great and all hell. But the moment you try and put that fucking piece back in, the whole fucking tower collapses.
Yeah, it's like movies showing the best part of the movies in the trailer, and then you go into like, I could have just fucking watched the trailer and saved my damn money.
Yeah, because it's basically like the only good moments of a fucking trailer is like what you put in the trailer. It's like Wakanda Forever. Like the best part of it is in the fucking trailer. The rest of it's shite. All right.
I just watched that. I'm sorry. Go on.
No, sorry. Okay. Anyway, Omar, continue.
Here's the thing with Callisto Protocol. And I sent you the article. There is, we talked about it. There is, what we call it. So this is
Where did you
done
send it?
by. Sorry?
Where did you send it?
I sent it on, what we call it, on Vitamin G, the Twitter account. I'm not gonna read it. So this is from account on Twitter, and I believe it's because it happened to before me. My result from testing Callisto Protocol a disk build so far. All of this is just within the first half hour of the game. So mind you, this is without day one patch, without anything. So I start with texture loading observed during cutscene and after reloading a checkpoint. A subtitle would not always display when the dialogue was being spoken. Happened to me in game after day one patch. Artifacting observed around main character model when moving the camera in certain areas. Dialogue audio missing from cutscenes. Happened to me as well. Because I'm bad hearing, I wouldn't be understand what's going on. Because he would say something, but his mouth is not moving that well, and there is no subtitle. So I have no idea what he was saying. Frame rate slowdown observed during cutscene and gameplay in performance mode. I had a few hiccups with frame rate, but not that significant. Subtitles observed not matching spoken dialogue. Didn't happen with me. Game crashed 8 times. For me, it crashed 3 times. A visual bug observed where objective description dialogue would not appear in the box or screen. And here's the kicker. Enemy didn't spawn after player being killed and the game reloading the checkpoint. I cannot stress it enough how many times it happened for me. Mind you, I'm playing after patch after patch after patch after patch. So this is no longer day one patch only. Pause menu took several seconds to display after pausing the game. Happens for me every now and then. Item in inventory observed display the wrong description. I didn't have an issue with that. Me and a few others, we have an issue with a trophy that it said that you need to dodge 5 times perfect dodge after each other. But here's the kicker. It's almost near impossible to do perfect dodge because the game tells you there is no window for dodging, but in fact there is, because there is something called perfect dodge that the game never even explains it to you unless you go to the tutorial menu yourself. After loading a checkpoint, the stun button was invisible until R2 was pressed. Never happened to me. But what did happen for me and many others, when you kill an enemy and it saves, literally saves after you kill, let's say, the final enemy. And the final enemy drop loot. In order to pick up loot, you need to hit him one more time. Now, between this and your next checkpoint, if you die, when you reload your save file, the loot, the enemy, the corpse that was on the ground is no longer there. So you're gonna miss out on loot unless you literally need to play the previous checkpoint just so you can get back to where you are now with the look intact. That, and also the fact that sometimes enemies don't even respawn or don't even drop loot when you're playing the game. And again, this happened for me with day one patch. So this game by definition was broken before it even released. So here, some collectibles don't appear when they should be. Trophy for all collectible unattainable. That's literally the same thing with day one patch. I had my trophy.
Can you just get on with reading all of these instead of giving us
Yeah,
a fucking
yeah,
anecdote for
yeah.
each one?
Yeah. NPC observe teleporting instead of walking back and forth normally. Enemy AI observed breaking an enemy stood still. Enemy AI observed breaking an enemy stood still, not moving. A bug observed where item didn't completely disappear from inventory after selling it until switching the menu. Visual bugs observed where ammo counter in pistol didn't display ammo count until after several seconds. After dying and reloading checkpoint, item pickup did not respawn. Loading a save made the items respawn. Interesting. Lucky you. Broken glass from window observed floating in air until disappearing. Execution animation on both enemies and player observed non-function properly. Bug observed where a door opens, then the cutscene of the door opening played right after. Execution animation on both enemies and player observed non-function. Oh, sorry. Icon observed still in screen to open door after door was open. Fell through the floor and died. First story related trophy didn't unlock. So these are just the first within the first half hour of the game. This game needed at least a year minimum.
I wouldn't
If
say
you
a
guys-
year. I wouldn't say a year. I would say, again, as I said earlier, I would say until fucking February when New Game Plus and hardcore mode was meant to release. I'd say then.
These are insignificant compared to the game that they released. When I needed to waste my time because I wouldn't get the item that I need to, I had to reload a previous save file. Then I needed to sit through a cutscene that you can't skip, mind you, just so I can get the item that I want, only to get hit by an enemy because I clearly hit him, but clearly the game didn't register that and it killed me, only to go back to the checkpoint where I am missing out on the item. So then I need to restart again. This game was literally released by the definition of something called unfinished. It's not the extra stuff that I'm focusing on. Its game literally function like intended.
No.
Again-
You're missing what I'm saying. I'm saying that they should have released it in February because that would have been enough time to finish New Game Plus and hardcore mode with one set of the team and then the other set of the team fixing all these bugs that have been listed.
I would hope so. My final point would be this. 2 points. First one is, if you guys remember, there was a quote-unquote rumor that Callisto Protocol being delayed. it surfaced on Twitter. The developer came out and said, no, it's not true. Now here's the kicker. What if it was the case? But then they felt pressured because they want to they want to make an impact before Dead Space. Because the rumor was it's going to be released next year. You're not going to be able to compete with Dead Space. I'm pretty sure Dead Space will be able to eat this game alive when it comes to releasing properly and function well.
Here's the reason why I don't fully agree with that. The reason why I don't fully agree with that is down to one simple fact. It's EA. EA has had a tremendous track record of fucking things up. So, like, the chances, like, at this point in time, in my opinion, there is a 50-50 chance that that Dead Space comes out and is better than the original. Yeah. Or it comes out as a complete unfinished, buggy piece of shit and loaded with microtransactions, as most fucking EA stuff is.
Okay. I never played Star Wars, the one that EA put out, the single player one. Did it release well, or did it have issues?
Oh, The Last Jedi? Oh, it released well, but I put that down to because it's fucking Respawn. And this was before... wait, was this before or after they owned Respawn? I was after.
I mean, Respawn is still able to... I mean, Apex has been an indication. They still managed to be the one shining light in the EA space.
Let me ask... Okay, then let me ask you, Jubei. Jubei, you're playing the new Need for Speed. How is it? Is it functioning well? Okay. I have a... I said, you here? No, he's not. I have a theory. I believe, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Sorry.
You gotta see it.
He's here.
Oh, you're back? Okay. I asked you, you're playing the new Need for Speed. How is it? Is it running well?
I haven't played it yet. I'm in the EA free trial, but I haven't played it yet because I haven't bought it.
And here's another reason about the whole Dead Space thing. Why I don't fully believe that would be the reason is like the studio behind Callisto Protocol themselves. The guys making the Dead Space remake are an unproven studio.
Are what?
They're an unproven studio.
Oh, okay, on that front.
Yeah, because Callisto Protocol was made by
a new studio.
Let me get their actual name because I'm pretty sure they have worked on a couple of other things. Striking Distance Studios. So they have worked on they might have like aided on the development of some of the stuff, but in Callisto Protocol, our games. Okay, yeah. So Striking Distance Studios, their first game is Callisto Protocol. Right? So they might have helped work on other things, but this is their first game. The Motive Studios, they first started helping with Battlefront 2. You know, that shitty one. Then they made at least a good, decent game in Star Wars Squadron. This is literally their third game. Like, Dead Space Remake is their third game.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a chat, again, under EA, unproven, relatively unproven studio. Like, there is a chance that the Dead Space game could be shit. I'm hoping not, but I'm really hoping not, because I love Dead Space.
Gotcha. That's why I think. Because to me, it feels like, and I might be wrong, EA have always been shit, but they might be, turning things around with this one. Because if Dead Space come out and it's well, and we got the new Star Wars announced, and Need for Speed is well, then bit by bit we might see a Capcom from EA.
So Need for Speed, to give you the idea, let me look at Need for Speed rate. So right now it's got a 76% on Steam, Unbound.
I think it's anti-meta.
Yeah. It was,
So what?
So in this one review, apparently it has issues with the multiplayer experience, lack of polish, lack of races, lack of progression. And the positives is Unbound runs on the same engine as Heat from 2015, allowing it to build upon the succession. Graphics look good, and car selection and performance customization and visual customization is apparently really good as well. But I'm seeing seeing these cons as a regular thing.
Okay. So, I'm gonna cut it short with this one, and this is my opinion. If consequences were a thing, and two, if we, the gamers, had something called consumer predictable roles that actually gave a fuck, I don't think we would ever see a game releasing unfinished.
See, no, here's the thing. There are consequences. It's called don't buy games day fucking one.
No, there aren't. Look at CD Projekt Red. Nah. Look at what's happened with CD Projekt Red. No matter what, they're still doing what they're doing.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here is a big difference. Here is a tremendous fucking difference. I would just like to point out. There were consequences to CD Projekt Red. There was lawsuits levied against CD Projekt Red for their advertisements. There was massive refunds for it. Yes, it made a lot of money, but there was still a lot of money lost due to refunds. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that was the first time Sony let you do a refund on a game.
So to turn around and say there is no refunds is asinine and stupid. All right. They lost a lot, and I mean, especially in the PC space. Nappy, I'm sure you will back me up on this as well. They lost an arse ton of fucking goodwill when it came after Cyberpunk.
Yeah, they honestly, everybody was just so heartbroken because
CD Projekt
they lucky that Edge Runner came out.
Yeah, CD Projekt Red in the PC space was one of the most beloved fucking studios ever. They fell off a fucking cliff after that. Alright, the only reason they started making a comeback in the news is Edge Runner. Like, because
he just said it. So irrelevant. But it is relevant.
I made a point. Edge Runner was a good move though. Like that was them doing something good.
That's what I'm trying to explain. They took a hit. They didn't shut down. If a studio shut down.
Oh, so you're talking nuclear option. So you're saying that the guys behind Callisto should be shut down.
I am talking nuclear option because CD Projekt Red was not the first one to release games unfinished. We have something called Anthem beforehand. We have something called Fallout 76 beforehand. We keep getting unreleased finished games because there are no consequences. No matter how big the consequence that was for CD Projekt Red, they're still kicking.
How do you propose to shut down $1 million?
And here's the problem.
I'm about to say it'll take more than one failed game.
Yeah, because that's what I'm talking about. Like with CD Projekt Red, it was one game. Like in the grand scheme of things, it was one game that they fucked up with. Like, yeah, it was a massive fuck up, but again, it was one game out of all of the games like they've made. Like, this isn't like an EA situation where they fucked up multiple times over multiple franchises over multiple decades. Like, this was them fucking up with one game. It was just,
and I guess,
and I said it then. I've said fucking Cyberpunk 2077 releasing a really fucking piss poor state. But the thing is, the undeniable thing with Cyberpunk 2077 is if it was any other game, it wouldn't have got as much heat as it did. But it was just the perfect fucking storm that surrounded that game that made the fucking backlash blow up as much as it did.
And I guess what is the defining factor?
Hold on, because I'd like to point out, because my example to that would be Callisto Protocol. My example to that would be Callisto Protocol. The backlash behind Callisto Protocol is nowhere near as bad as Cyberpunk 2077, but it's just as big of a fucking mess.
and like stuff like that is important because like again, by whose measure do we one consider something an absolute failure to the point where you have to go away? Because I think we all understand it can't be Metacritic, right?
No.
Because like that's an odd thing to do.
Unless you're Omar and you're talking about PlayStation games, because then if it gets below an 80, it's a failure. Everything's got to be a 90.
I mean, I don't think Horizon did get a 90. So it's just sort of like who becomes the arbiter of this? Because even amongst like us here, like we have different judgments on how we view game. Like I am sure it's why like I'm excited for Evil West. Like it's probably not a great game, but I bet it's a lot of fun. And so like I'll have like fun with it, but under this sort of umbrella, Evil West probably just wouldn't even exist.
And here's the other thing as well. Like he's talking nuclear option, which in some regards I would agree with if the studio never learned a thing. Alright? We've yet to see if CD Projekt Red has learned anything from the Cyberpunk debacle. We won't learn. We won't learn if we won't know if they've learned anything until the Witcher 3 next gen port. That's when we'll learn something, and then we'll learn even more when Phantom Liberty comes out next year, which I think comes out in February or March of next year, which is the Cyberpunk DLC. That's when we'll know if they learned something, because again, despite what he turned around and said, there were consequences. Not nuclear consequences like he wants, but there were consequences to what they did. And let's see if they learn from those mistakes. If they don't, then the nuclear option. Right? Because he went from DEFCON 1 to fucking what was the lowest DEFCON? Is it DEFCON 5 that's the lowest, and then DEFCON 1 is nuclear, or am I got the other way around?
No clue.
I literally said Cyberpunk was not the first game to be released unfinished. I literally named
But it was from CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, but my point.
No, it wasn't. Your point was that. I'm sorry, did he not turn around and say they deserve the nuclear option after Cyberpunk?
Yeah, and I literally said that I will say the same thing for BioWare releasing Anthem like that. Like, that's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. As long as there is no nuclear option, this shit is gonna keep happening.
But the problem is you're asking for the nuclear option off of one damn mistake. Well, you're right. You're leaving no room for improvement.
No, hold up. Releasing a game unfinished when you know it's unfinished is not a mistake.
Even if it isn't, like, so does that mean Capcom goes away?
Yeah, because Capcom fucked up.
But
Naughty Dog have fucked up.
No. But so that means like we don't get the excellent like Monster Hunter world.
We don't get Resident Evil 7. We don't get Resident Evil 8. We don't get Resident Evil 2 remake. We don't get
I understand the idea behind it, but like the application doesn't seem practical because people they don't deserve, but like companies have to do whatever they can to fight to win back their market. Capcom is a perfect example of seeing a company who was like down real bad rise to like really good heights, to arguably probably the best they've been since the days of Mega Man.
Yeah, like the 90s.
Yeah, so it just feels a little heavy-handed. And this isn't to say like within Capcom, things have gone away because of their failures. Marvel vs. Capcom doesn't exist anymore because of their failures. And they probably aren't making them.
too.
Yeah, fucking like EA, for example. Like again, we're talking about consequences. They made a lot of consequences, but then they made a lot of fuck ups. Then they made a fuck up that went too far, and then Daddy Disney had to actually stepped in and said, "Hey, you know that Star Wars license? Yeah, we're gonna take that away." Then what did we get after that? We got the quite honestly really fucking good Star Wars Squadrons.
Oh, I will say Jedi Fallen Order was actually good.
No, that came out before Battlefront 2, didn't it?
No, that came out after.
Was it?
That was after.
Well, either way, then there was the course correction. Like we actually got some good games from EA, and hopefully Dead Space is a continuation of that. Like, the problem, Omar, that you are with this pin-headed fucking idea of the nuclear option, which I'm not fully against. Like, there are companies that deserve the nuclear option, but to slap that onto something like a CD Projekt Red, who made who fucked up once, whether by hook or by crook, it was a fuck up. To go nuclear on them leaves no option for improvement. And the same argument can be made for you. With any fuck up you make, if we went nuclear on you, there's no room for improvement. You're just gone.
I think a nuclear just for the okay. So let me explain it because I didn't explain it well. I think nuclear just for what we call it, the people that are making decisions. Like the studio can stay and can do something different, but the people handling the people that okays to release a game unfinished, these people need to go.
So you're talking about the CEOs of all these companies.
Yeah.
So what about the shareholders that pushed them to release a game early?
I was about to say, because who fires the CEOs?
Yeah, CEOs are appointed by shareholders.
So most companies do it by vote, and with CD Projekt Red, shareholders did play a big portion in releasing that game early. CD Projekt Red it seemed like they didn't outright say it, but they were definitely left a lot of hints of them were like trying not to release the game in that current state, but they kind of got pushed to by the shareholders.
And following, like, again, it sounds, I understand the system. I'm just not sure how it would work, because there would have to be a separate board to monitor every game to then decide whether or not CEOs deserve to stay or not.
Yeah, just a whole board meeting and all that stuff.
It's like,
and then how do you establish that board? And then how do you make sure they're qualified and not biased? Because the industry is small. Like, I'm definitely, like, if I'm friends with Bobby K and he's giving me stock options, I'm probably going to make sure he stays where he needs to be.
That sounds like inside trading.
It does a little bit.
I'm not saying that's illegal, but usually every like CEO, just because you're a CEO of something, you can have multiple CEOs. It's usually like a board, and every company has a board, and that board can make a vote on like getting rid of a CEO. It's I
get that. I just mean, like, Capcom's board is not Konami's board, is not Ben Studios board. If we just do smaller studios, right? Like, so.
Oh fuck! The new
there has to be someone independent who monitors all three of them to force them to do it. Because if the board, particularly if a game comes out unfinished but still makes a good amount of money, I have no incentive to fire anybody up top.
Pokemon?
The Pokemon, you did exactly what I need you to do. Make me money. Why would I fire you? If you give me a good reason for me to fire you, I will. But you've made me money hand over fist. You made me the fastest.
Because
$10 million
now
in 3 days.
Because we now have someone, a company that, not a company, fucking. Okay, so it's a bad idea, but I still want genuine consequences, and would be something like a regulated by the government.
That is no. I'm gonna tell you right now, that will not fly here in America.
No, you do not want that.
Yeah, the last thing Americans are going to go for is a government entity coming in and telling a private business what they can and cannot do.
Oh no, the FTC is trying to do that.
I give a fuck. I give a fuck about my own protection when it comes to the games that I'm buying.
It won't work. And as Tony do America, let's just do the West. Like the West as a whole. Like I'm telling you, bro. Like first of all, to have this, it is wonderfully noble but horribly naive to believe that the government institution isn't going to be just as corrupt as the private.
It's going to be more fucking corrupt.
I am fully aware that the government is corrupt, but it's just.
You're telling a bunch of old boomers that are still holding on to the little power they have left to make judgments on video games that they don't even play.
That don't understand. All they see is dollar signs.
Yes, all they see is dollars. They're like, hey, this game makes money. It's okay, so we'll let this company do whatever they want.
Someone said, Dragonheart Boy said exactly that what I've been saying for the longest, gent. It shouldn't be the dev. Management above to take. Yeah, I agree. That might be
and that's issue. Here's the thing. Like, you turn around and say that they should take the majority of the blame. That's, again, you keep, and I'll bring it up again just because it's the one that you tried to use. That is what happened with CD Projekt Red. It wasn't the devs at CD Projekt Red that got all of the flack. It was the guys at CD Projekt that got all of the shit. Like, they got fucking nailed to the wall by everybody.
And I agree with you, Dante, and only slightly agree with one thing, because if there's one place where like the judgment of the people does exist, it is online. And if you just looked online in CD Projekt Red, people say the devs. They didn't specify CEOs or publishers.
No, they did. No, Nappy, help me out here. They did. They when it came out.
As a person who's not like super depth into the same circles you follow, the outside portion is just saying developers, because people don't separate the two.
I'm sorry, but even outside, even a lot outside, because it was news that it was news. Like IGN covered this when they turned around and said that about the crunch, and then it was the CEO's decision specifically. Like, they outlined it. The IGN article outlined it, that it was the CEO's decision to not delay Cyberpunk again and to release it. It's after all of the crunch. Like, people knew. And that's when people really went after CD Projekt.
I hear you, but as far as I'm concerned, the only people who ever get blamed are the devs.
Yeah.
I agree in a majority of the times, but like I said, because CD... Okay, I'll put it like this, because I don't think this is an arguable fact. In a lot of other situations, you are correct, but the CD Projekt, the Cyberpunk one, is the exception because of how highly publicized it was. Like, everybody had their eyes on it. And everybody had their eyes on the news about it because it was so because, again, the shitstorm around it was so highly publicized. Like, everybody was talking about it.
Yeah, not only that, but their shares went down, and that's why the investors start suing CD Projekt Red.
Thank you. You want to talk consequences? There you go.
But like, overall, I don't know. Again, if part of that solution of, consequences really need to take place, people need to understand who identify as the problem.
Oh, and like I said, in that case, people did identify who the problem was.
No, absolutely. I'm just saying across the board.
And I will agree there.
Yeah, more often than not, it's going to be the developers who take the blame. But what if they're not? Like, people up and down blame the developers of Anthem, but they were flabbergasted that this game was coming out just like everybody else.
No, we've okay, that's another highly publicized one. With Anthem, that was the devs' fault.
It was not completely. It was actually this is a perfect example of the top people of that development team. Damn, I forgot their names because they
But what I'm saying is like as far, because like the CEO of BioWare at the time was also in the development team for Anthem.
He's actually one of the sole people to blame, and talking about they had this whole model where crunching is okay.
And also, because like EA was somewhat blameless in that. Like, their biggest fault was saying, no, we're releasing this fucking game because we've given you X amount of millions of dollars and X amount of years, and you literally have fuck all to show. We are going to out you as the fucking useless twats that you are.
Actually, as a matter of fact, you could thank EA for allowing flying to be a thing in Anthem.
Yeah, no, that is a thing. Like, he's not wrong. A dev, one of these CEOs went and played Anthem. He loved I believe was it the original build he had flying. Then he went and played another build
and they took away flying,
and he's like, wait, where's the flying? It was so cool.
Yeah, like they told BioWare to put fucking flying back in their damn game. I was like, damn. So yeah, actually, if Microsoft needs to buy something, Microsoft should buy Anthem. They can't fuck up more than BioWare, but it has to be something they should purchase.
Either way, unfinished games. Has anybody else got anything they want to say about the state of unfinished games currently in our?
We didn't hear from Pero.
Don't think we've
And
fully
the-
heard from Jubei either. Jubei.
And Juve. Yeah, I was about to say.
If they're even still here after our fucking long tirade.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yup.
a long time ago, sadly.
I'm still here.
Kofi left.
Kofi was like, man, I got a family. I gotta go.
I got real well shit to do.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, go on. You got anything yet? You got anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, unfinished games is just we've allowed these companies to continue to do this to us. Like it's on us as much as it is on them. You know what I mean? Like, as long as people continue to pre-order games and give them their sales numbers and shit, it's not going to stop.
See,
We can hope.
that is at this point in time. Okay, so a couple of years ago, I would say I don't know if it's different in the US, but over here in the UK, it's a little different. So pre-orders here in the UK work like if you've got a game that you want to get, you can pay £5 and £2 now actually, and they reserve the game for you. But you reserve the right to cancel that pre-order and you get that £2 back. Like they give you the £2 back. Nobody's getting that £2.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. Like, I'm not saying that. It's the fact that they already still have their money.
But they don't.
Yeah.
But they don't.
It's like they see the numbers that they're gonna.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
Are you gonna let me fucking talk? Or are you gonna keep fucking talking?
I'm gonna keep fucking talking. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep fucking talking just to piss you off.
It's like just like with CD Projekt Red. It's like they got all these pre-orders and shit early, and then you're not gonna cancel the game until you already know like it's fucked up. And typically, you won't really know that until it comes out. But by then, people have already been suckered into that shit. A lot of people don't read reviews, bro. Like, again, consumers are just as much to blame for unfinished shit as everybody else.
No, I get that. No, what the point I'm trying to make is, like, again, over here in the US, over in the UK, they hold on to, when you pre-order a game, you pay £2 for it, and they hold on to it, and like because they only get a set amount of games sent to them. Like they don't. That's not how pre-orders work here. They only get a set amount of games, and you have to pre-order.
I'm not just talking about physical pre-orders though.
Can you just let me finish?
More people are buying digital than physical at this point.
Okay, that's different. But I'm just going with physical so I can because I'm trying to make a point here. Like, because there is a point to this. If you let me finish talking, you gonna let me finish talking? But yeah, so they hold on to the game for 2 days after the fact, and then you lose the pre-order and stuff like that. You don't get the £2 back, but you can cancel at any time. The point for me is like it is different it's obviously different for digital because you've already paid up front the entire goddamn money. That's a whole different issue because it leads back to the whole point of I don't necessarily think that physical pre-orders are a problem, but buying the games day one is the problem. Because when you pre-order a game again online, like you don't get the refund option. They don't hold on to it for 2 days and then you can choose to cancel it on that day. They've already got your fucking money. So you've effectively paid for the game day one. So it's more of a fact of like people are just buying games day one and just being impatient motherfuckers basically. People need to stop buying games day one basically is what I'm saying.
Here's the thing, if you're gonna buy it day one, why not pre-order it just to get bonuses? Like the two still go hand in hand.
Yeah, which is a problem.
Why would I buy it? Why would I buy it day one and I didn't fucking pre-order it? Like,
because
the
problem is well, physically at least, again they fuck you over in digital, which is why I don't go digital. Like even if you as long as you you don't even need to buy the game to get you don't need to pre-order the game physically to get those pre-order bonuses because they just give you the fucking bonuses when you buy the game brand new anyway physically.
I don't know about that.
Oh, they
'Cause,
do
I mean,
here. They do
GameStop and Best Buy and like all the retailers have different pre-order bonuses for games.
here in the UK. They
So-
got over here in the UK. They don't do that anymore. We don't get pre-order bonuses. We get them. We get them. It's basically if you buy it day one or brand new. Sorry, like a brand new physical copy. Then they print out a ticket on a receipt with your codes in it.
Yeah, the U.S. varies whether you're doing it by retailer, Amazon. Like it really depends on where you're buying the game from.
Yeah, which is a problem. All right, well, Pharaoh fucked off. So, has anybody else got anything they want to add?
Yeah, there was such a call today.
All right, cool. Well, then in that case, let's get to the outros. Nappy, give us your outro, my guy.
Hey guys, for everyone's watching, thank you for coming by, and also it was definitely nice chatting with Vitamin G about the state of gaming and unfinished buggy mess of majority of our games. If you guys want to follow me, you guys can follow me right here on YouTube. All you gotta do is type in Nappy Stitching in that search bar, and my channel will come up. Currently doing some controller reviews. Like I said before, I'm working on controller review with the controller with the LED screen on it. I don't know, it looks like Sanic, but it's not Sanic. And also, I'm doing a little test about input delays, seeing if people actually notice input delays. Oh yeah, FYI, just to give you guys a little fact: the fastest controller that you can use on a gaming PC is actually a DualShock or a DualSense controller, overclocked.
Overclocked, he says.
Yes, I overclock this DualSense controller. I get less than 1 millisecond input delay. This is literally the fastest controller I have right now for my PC.
Nice.
So,
all right, Jubet, where can people find you?
Yep, you can find me at Jubei Sensei on everything that's not a gaming platform. Jubei X Sensei on gaming platforms. Jubei Jones on music platforms. Check out my YouTube channel. Come holler at me on Twitch at Jubei X Sensei if I'm playing some Yu-Gi-Oh or something. Yeah, I'll catch you guys next. Are we doing a show on the Game Awards or no?
Yeah, so about that,
I'll try.
I asked Nate if he can stream the show because my laptop can't handle it. If he can, then I'm gonna ask you guys if you want to guys do a double joint. Where
if he cannot, I can also stream it. So that's fine.
I will see what I can do.
I'm trying to get that free Steam Deck.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let you guys know on maximum Wednesday if we can make it or not.
All right. Zero. Oh wait, no. Omar, where can people find you?
People can find me at Carbon Shop on Twitter and Anime Squad every Friday 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Game Player every Saturday 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to the cast and members and hit the like button.
All right. People can find my tired dead ass at Dante Crisis on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. And the Dante Crisis on Facebook. Currently doing a Let's Play of Bayonetta 3 and Borderlands 2 DLC. Currently streaming. Fire Emblem Three Houses is on hold at the moment because I'm using my fucking Switch to record Bayonetta 2 and it's a big pain in the ass. But I am playing Persona 4 Golden and Mass Effect Andromeda. So yep. Zero, where can people find you? But more importantly, where can people find us?
Well, guys, as always, it is an absolute blast to come and chop it up with you guys. And actually, because I missed you guys because I wasn't here last week, so it was good to be back. You can certainly find us, Vitamin G Podcast, pretty much everywhere you listen to any of your famous streaming services. That is Apple, that is Spotify, that is Google. I don't know if there's any like hot streaming gossip. Usually I say like you can find. Oh no, you cannot find us there. And matter of fact, I'm not going to bring it up. So please just give us a like, comment, subscribe. All three of those. We'll just do whatever. Just say what you don't like. Just like support the channel. As I always say, like it's wonderful that you guys could be doing anything else, but that you decided to listen to us. More importantly, please, you can find me as well, 0x386, pretty much everywhere online. But please, even more importantly than that, support my fellow panel mates here. They all do absolutely wonderful things. You will catch some of us various things. I have watched Nappy's videos. Jube and I have fought matches. I've been on Omar's shows. Dante is all throughout the week, and we can pop in. This isn't fun without these guys, so make sure to support them. And as always, guys, thank you for supporting us.
Yes, and remember to keep it gaming. Okay, we out of here. Peace.
Later.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone.
You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin